tell you, Google took my rights away. All right, we're live, and this is another live from the deep web episode podcast. Hashtag everything else in between. I have with me George Davinigas, VHS Dreams, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. But first, before we get into anything else, talking about a lot of things, let's talk a little bit about your release that you have, a vinyl release, pre-orders for
Yeah,
Trans Am, right?
yeah. It's basically a crowdfund kind of. I mean, it's like a mixture of crowdfund and order-based pressing, and it's 300 copies. It's like limited, and basically, yeah, I'm doing it on Curates, which is a very awesome uh, website because it lets people, you pre-order something, but you don't get charged for it. If it reaches a goal of 300 copies, then they start pressing them and sending them, and only then you get charged. So if the crowdfund doesn't work, you don't lose any money. It's not like you pre-ordered something and then it didn't happen. So it's really good. You just secure your copy and then you just sit back and wait till it's done, and then you have your copy in very cheap shipping prices. Actually, it's a really good place.
Nice, nice. And that's exciting though. I mean, this is the first vinyl release for you, right?
Yeah. I'm really happy about it. I was planning it for a while now, but I just couldn't find the time to make the proper masters and stuff. And also didn't know that there was services like this where you could when you could crowdfund your vinyl so easily, like
Right.
curates.com. And when I found out about it this summer, I thought, it's definitely time to do it because the album was released last year, and I don't want to I don't want to wait too long to release the vinyl. So yeah, I'm glad it's out now.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So, now, what else have you been up to lately?
Mostly I'm working on the next album for about a few months now, and
And this is the mystical, kind of new agey.
this is the yeah, the theme. It's called Live from the Lost World. That's the final final title.
Nice. Last time
Uh,
we talked, it was you. This was like a glimmer in your eye. So this is cool that we're talking now, and this is a real thing. You know what I mean? This is
yeah,
cool.
it's happening, and yeah, I mean, I started doing this as a theme, as something that involves themes of like lost worlds, obviously, lost continents, like Atlantis and Mu and stuff like that. Because I really like reading about lost islands and stuff like that. I'm really fascinated by this whole thing. And but as I was making the album, it turns out that it had a ton of references to my very early childhood. So the Lost World ends up basically being somebody's childhood. You know, it's lost because it's not real anymore, and it's distant because it's in the distant past. But it's kind of like it's gonna be presented like this mythical land, which doesn't exist anymore, but it exists in a parallel universe, and that's the whole thing about it.
I feel you. So now you're adding this kind of fantasy aspect to it, like this kind of fictional fantasy aspect to it.
It ties in with the whole VHS Dreams plot that there is this alternate 1995, and actually this album is really going to be about it because I'm going to have some music videos as well, hopefully, and there will be a story on the music videos, and it's very fleshed out. You know what I mean? I've put a lot of detail into it because, well, so far you had the general universe thing, and now with this album, it's gonna go in many details about how is this universe, who is there, what are they doing, what is VH's dreams in this universe, and how they all ties together and stuff. I think I'm gonna have a booklet as well not a grimoire like yours, but I really love that idea though. But not like.
I've got that, and I also have a coloring book for Crystal Bear coming out Wednesday.
Oh, that's
So
freaking awesome!
yeah,
Coloring book.
I made. He has this concept story. He's doing this trilogy. The second part is coming out. It's two EPs and an LP. He's got two EPs. The first one is Oberon, which is what we're putting on tape on Wednesday, and that comes with like a little coloring book that I had designed a while back, and now I've got a chance to print them. So yeah, it's this
Yeah.
thing called the Criterion Collection. I love making these little books. It's really cool. It's really fun.
When I read your grimoire, I mean, it's so good. And I only have half of it because I haven't bought the tape, and I only have I only have the first part, but it's so good. I mean, I read it like 10 times. I'm not even joking. I read it 10 times in a row. I read this introduction. I mean, it's it's so good.
it's an homage to it's an homage to old Renaissance and medieval
Yeah,
manual on magic.
yeah, the
Magic and shit like
manuals.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little homage to those, the Arbitel and the greater keys and the lesser keys of Solomon, all the good stuff. The Great
Yeah, indeed.
Warfare Room and all this stuff. Although those are good reads. They are. There's this weird. The other thing that's kind of cool about reading these old grimoires is that you get, you can read the language, the kind of English that was being spoken at the time, at least at the time of the printing of it, and it's interesting.
Yeah, and the whole prose and stuff, and the whole style.
Exactly, the structure. It's all
You
very.
know, you know,
It's
you,
not just
you
the spelling. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
right.
I like how the way they address the reader in a
Right.
way. Like I really like, and you have this in your grimoire as well. That's why I found it really funny. Because it's like it's from me to you. Not to you
Right.
everybody, just to you, to the person who reads it right now. I mean, they have this kind of attitude,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I mean, I wanted to have that, but yeah, like I drew out all those sigils and put them in there and shit, and just moved on with it, and like it's a really pretty book actually. I should have grabbed one handy, but I don't have it, so
Oh
it's a
yeah,
shame.
you should have had one
I
to
know,
show
right?
here.
But
But yeah, yeah. Tell me.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I wanna have a because this next album is gonna utilize some aesthetics that are similar to like Soviet propaganda flyers and 70s anarchist flyers and stuff like that. So with the huge headlines and then grabbing attention and stuff. And so I want to have a booklet that is it feels like I want it to feel like it's written by some kind of proclamation or flyer from an anarchist or any political organization, like like a sub political subcultural group or something. That they make these flyers only for members. And I'm gonna also put the flyers in there as part of the pages. So it's gonna be illustrated as well. And I'm thinking this as an extra with you know like with a CD or something, like an extra limited thingy that can be with like. I have this idea about many items. I mean, the next album is gonna have many different items as merchandise. Many of them will be limited as less as maybe 5 copies or something.
Nice though. I mean, I think I think this is the way to go. To be quite honest, to me, like I'm accepting that doing something like this, where I'm making just a little artifact with tape, is really just a step in the direction that I want to go, and trying to remarket musicians, because music is worthless. I mean,
I
music.
love that. I love
Yeah, I mean,
that.
music has intrinsic value, and it can mean
Yeah.
something to you or not.
Yeah.
Just the
Exactly.
same. The pendulum can
Yeah.
swing both ways. But I mean, monetarily, it's worthless. It always has been worthless. I mean, there was no ever a business model that
especially
did that.
yeah, music itself. I mean,
Yeah,
the medium can be worth something, but the music itself,
exactly.
as a work of art itself, it's basically it's well, it's immaterial for once. You know, I mean, it's
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
it's not in one place either. I mean, it's it's not like a painting, for example, where you just have it there, you buy it, and that's why paintings are so expensive anyway. I mean, because it's just one, and it's an item and it's there, But music is everywhere. It's more an idea than an actual thing. So it's hard to actually sell it. I mean, you could, especially with digital stuff. It's a weird case. The digital music in general.
Yeah, it's when it comes to this kind of unofficial, like in all the groups of people and everyone that's not essentially the middle class of the music business. It's not a middle class producer. Everyone that's under that, they seem to have this weird veneration and sacredness for sound, and it's weird to me. it's
They do, they do,
it's
they do.
weird. I understand digging things and making it a part of your life, but this religiosity that comes along with it is weird, where people they're intractable in their ideas about, well, it's got to be this and it's got to be that, and this is the business model that's the best, and helping the artist and shit, and it's so convoluted. If you ask me,
The ac-
go ahead.
yeah.
No, go, tell me,
Now,
because
the actual annoying thing about this whole thing is that people who appoint themselves as the one is responsible to tell us which is the best and which is the worst are not musicians usually or artists.
right.
I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
It's
It's true though. No, it's absolutely true.
yeah, and that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like it's either businessmen or journalists or I don't know reviewers or critics maybe I don't know, but it's definitely
Nerds.
not nerd.
just
It's
I'm a
definitely
music
not
nerd.
the artist. Definitely not the artist though, is it?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the truth, man. It's absolutely the truth. I think, for me, it's a step in the direction what I'm doing, like what I did with Person, and what I'm about to do with Crystal Bear, and then on and on and on for all the rest of the projects here, is trying to create like a little bubble, like a little world with each
Yeah,
artist, and people can walk into that world and see if they dig it or not, and buy an artifact from that world. And I think that's what people have to do. I mean, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, that people need to accept it needs to be done. You know
yeah.
what I mean? When it comes to this livelihood and to making it into a real industry. I think there's a lot of work, and I think people need to accept it. I think it needs a lot more unity amongst a lot of producers. I think
Well,
there's
there's a lot of jealousy and animosity among producers. I mean,
it's
the
crazy.
problem, and you know what? The funny thing is that ego gets in the way of not just that; it gets in the way of everything. And when it comes to copyright, for example, because we mentioned that the other time on Facebook, right, about the copyright and all that.
Right.
What my proposal basically was that when it comes to art being used to a piece of art being used in within another piece of art, right? Artists need to be to loosen up in the whole matter, and everybody comes back with arguments regarding money, like you're losing money. I mean, somebody's is sampling your track and they don't pay you and you think you lose money, or if things are like this, you just don't get mentioned. You don't get credit, written credit. Uh, and I don't know. I just think that other arts are much more free in that aspect than music. I mean, I think musicians are so much clinging on their own output a lot. like the way no painter would cling on his painting, or no even a filmmaker would not cling that much. I mean, they do have an extended copyright system in movie making as well, but still they don't cling as much on it as musicians do in their own music.
I think I think like say you sampled something that I wrote and you made $2,000 off of it total, different various methods you know used it to sell it or whatever, and you made $2,000 off of it. Really, I at that point I would I mean, we're friends, so I would usually lend a track to you anyways. But if we
Yeah,
weren't friends and I didn't know you, and you made like 2 grand off of it, I wouldn't be too bitter about it. I wouldn't. If you made 2 million, I would
you
want
would.
something
Yeah,
from it.
yeah.
that's
See, that's
but that's the
that's
thing.
reasonable. That's reasonable, and the thing is that what I'm trying to do is to challenge these ideas, not to others but to myself. I mean, the first thing I did was to set all my tracks as Creative Commons, and they are free to remix and release as well, as long as it's for free. And that's the first, but they don't need my permission. I mean, you can take my tracks right now and you can make a remix and you can put it out for the free down, and you don't need my permission. You don't need to give me credit either.
Right.
I mean, and I did this as a challenge towards myself. I wanted to see how, if I can overcome this, I want to see how I feel. You know, I want to see how it affects me and everything. And it's like a process. I mean, at first you go mad because somebody's using your track and they're not mentioning you, you know, anywhere. At
Right.
the first you go mad, and but slowly you start to like be more open to it the more you exercise it on yourself. You use yourself as a guinea pig, you know, in that case. And my long-term goal would be, if I could make a lot of money from selling merchandise and selling live shows, you know, and selling, well, actual production, maybe for movies or I don't know what. My long-term goal would be to set my tracks into public domain, completely just public domain. You know, no money, no credit, no nothing. Because I would feel, if it sat there and saw that somebody used my tracks on a song and he succeeded, you know, in that song, I would kind of feel good about it, you know. But here's the if you allow me, here's the problem. The system does not agree with it, and I mean not the system, the ideological system. Well, that doesn't agree with it too,
Yeah,
but
copyright laws and everything. Yeah.
yeah, it's the copyright laws and the way things are imposed that does not really agree with that notion, because
Oh, it's nutty. It is.
label
It's a nutty
label
system.
the thing is that most discography that exists out there right now is controlled by a label and is owned by a label as well, not by the artist. I mean, all the classics we hear, you know, all the classics from the 80s and 90s, all of them are owned by labels, by some label, you know, or some publisher. It's not owned by the artist. In most
Yeah.
cases, like 90% out of 100 of the cases, you know.
Yeah, mainly by
So,
publishers. I mean, the publishers make a killing
yeah,
off
yeah,
where it
yeah,
all
yeah.
gets destroyed.
And you see, for example, you know, somebody's like sampling someone, an artist samples another artist, and he gets like a copyright strike. He gets a cease and desist letter. Like 99% of the times that this happens, it's not the artist himself. The artist himself probably doesn't even know about it. It's the publishers or the labels that do that.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
go after unauthorized usage. And the thing is that this has become like they've imposed this through the years like an ideology, to the point where artists don't even bother like thinking of an alternative. They're like, well, you know, that's how it is. You know, they don't even bother thinking or wondering or questioning if this is right, or if this is the best, or if there's another alternative. You know, they don't. And then apart from this is the only problem. The one problem is this. The other problem is artists' egos. And I don't mean necessarily inflated egos. I just mean like the normal ego you and I have and everybody has. Like,
You're right. You're absolutely right about that. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because of the culture that was created wasn't just created by consumers or labels. It was created by artists too. And that fucking crazy ass, we're not just the entertainment, we're God's model.
And they are greedy as well. Many artists are greedy.
Exactly.
They are. I mean,
They are.
you cannot deny it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
and yeah.
what makes an artist different than a businessman is that an artist doesn't want to admit that they're greedy. That's really the reality.
That's totally true. It is totally true, though.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
It's absolutely true.
It is definitely true. And the thing is that that's why the system has to change. Because right now, let me pause here and say, can we? If I share the link from Google, the one I see right now on Twitter,
That'll put people in the actual podcast. People
people talking.
people just pop up
Are,
and be
are we
like,
gonna
"Fuck
be like?
you."
I think we should do that one day. It's gonna be chaos, though. Yeah, how can they enter on the chat? I was just wondering if we can invite people on chat.
Let's see.
Because it would be good if people can have like a live. Not that I'm gonna pay attention to it. I'm just saying. Guys can sit there and talk to each other.
Let me try to get this loaded up. Sorry for this dead air. We're getting the link for people to join in right now, and I'm going to throw out a couple of questions for George while I do this, so you can fill the air with your sweet voice. Okay, so all that's good and stuff, but how then do you propose artists make revenue?
Yeah, how do you survive in all this? That's the question. How do you survive? Yeah, how do you survive in all this? Well, I can only speak on behalf of, based on my own plan and my own actions on this matter. Okay, so here's the thing. As we said, the problem is that even if you want to do it, the copyright system does not basically let you do it, because they've made a copyright system where you basically make revenue from your royalties and your licensing. And obviously, if you say, well, okay, everybody can use my songs into their own songs without paying me any royalties, you're losing revenue basically, right? But here's what I propose. I propose a gradual um, stepping towards this. For example, the first thing you can do, and I recommend everybody does this. I mean, I would say to every artist out there that they should do that, is to set your tracks as Creative Commons. And there are options within Creative Commons that nobody can use this if it's for monetary purposes. They can only use it for free downloads and all. And also there is a very good option which says that they can use your track, they can release their track, and they are forced to release it under the same license. So basically what happens is that you put something out as Creative Commons and you say, hey everyone, you can use this for your free remixes or your bootlegs or whatever you like, you can sample it within your own song as long as you release it for free. But you also have to release it under Creative Commons so that other people can sample your song under the same terms you sampled my song. So it's kind of like a viral thing, this copyright idea goes viral. And that's definitely the first step you could do. And then after this, if you reach a point where you make enough money from merchandise and sales and all that stuff and live shows and all that stuff, then maybe you can loosen up a bit and say, you know what, my songs personally are sample free. Just give me written credit and don't give me any royalties. I mean, you have to go there slowly, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're 60 years old or so and you have tons of money made from music, you can say, you know what, everything's public domain, I donate it to humanity.
Okay, so you're saying the first step is to go Creative Commons and
Hmm.
do that. So what happens with people who slice that up and sell it for samples, like in sample packs and things like that?
No, you cannot sell it because Creative Commons allows you to use it for free, for for your free non-profit purposes, right? It doesn't allow you to do it for profit purposes. You can set it like this if you want as well. But I recommend that this is an exercise about your own self, your own perception. So the first thing if you want to go slowly into that, and the first thing you want to do is like loosen up a bit, let other people make their stuff from your stuff, and just you make a song and just let it free. Let people do whatever they like. It belongs to people now. It doesn't belong to you anymore. And this is something that every artist would probably take out an axe and just start chasing me. But I don't care.
That's hilarious. Um, so, anyways, let's get down to brass tacks about money, revenue.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
what here's how I feel about it. I feel that the steps are always going to be there for good business practice, and they're ancient, they're old, and they're always going to be there. But cultures change and technologies change, and so nuances can happen with them. I accept that too, but I really think that there's just too many singular efforts out there right now, and I think there has to be more conglomerates being formed in the wild, with just spit and handshakes first, until it becomes something
Well,
to where legal
yeah,
documents need to be drawn. I
yeah,
really do think that that's the next step. That's the step to go. These
yeah.
mergers, so to speak, need to happen.
I, I don't know who came up with the idea of Creative Commons, but whoever did this was a genius in my opinion. I mean, it really, literally like gave a huge opening to people that now copyright is not just I own it or I don't own something. There is a middle ground now, and this is Creative Commons. That's why I think it's genius for whoever came up with this. Um, the thing is that it's not embedded into musicians and music producers' culture yet, and that's what we must do. That's our goal here.
Yeah, I think
That's my goal, to try and embed it more and make it more widespread into the music culture and
I think
ideology.
I think also that copyright for songs should be like 25 years. I think I don't really
Yeah,
understand the
25, 30, I don't know, 40, but it's like,
if you write a hit song, you should get some royalties, and you should ride that wave on until it's done. But after 25 years,
yeah, the
let a
problem is
commercial
that
use it.
deep down, what keeps us back from all this is, and from letting art loose, it's the artist's egos and perceptions that they don't trying to see it from another point of view. But I understand this because there are generations and generations of musicians, right, and music artists who are brought up with this idea that, okay, I made this, now it's mine, I control it, it's not yours, and I decide what to do with it. But in my opinion, and coming from different backgrounds, maybe painting mostly, uh, what you do is really public domain. From the moment it's out there, it's not yours anymore. And we might call it ours via copyright laws written on papers by people with suits that are not even artists. But in the philosophical sense, it's in public domain from the moment you release something. If you know what I mean.
Well, then what about an artist's signature hooks, or things like that? I mean that
I
that's
don't believe in signature hoods. I think all music is a copy of something else. Everybody copies everybody. They just don't admit it. And sometimes
yeah, but that's one of those taking a step
dismiss it.
back way too far back to see it like that. There's a real tangible signature of John Lennon when he's writing a song, or David
Yeah.
Bowie when he's writing a song. There's a real signature to that you can measure, you can see it. Or
But you can also copy it and make your own thing, and it's not plagiarism because you're not copying the song. Because you don't copy the song. Well, if somebody wanted to do it, I guess you could. I think everything in music can be copied, can be
Well, I mean,
quantified and copied.
all
You know.
I'm saying is that, like, if someone has a signature, then where's the line where it's not theirs? Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that line is really it's not clear, but depends on what you define as signature. Is it a signature image? Is it a signature sound? And what kind of sound is that is signature that other people should not be allowed to use it? I mean, is it a signature chord? I mean, it depends on how you define the signature thing.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got that with composers. We know, I can hear something. I know it's Bach, or I know it's Mozart.
Yeah, but that's something completely on air. It's not something that's on paper. It's just like you just feel it. It doesn't belong to them. You just feel it because it's them. Who made it, and it just comes out of them. And it just happens that nobody else. I think everybody, if you're serious about your art, at some point you find your true self, and that becomes your signature. But that's not something. It's not something that's supposed to be owned anyway. I mean, it's not something you're supposed to be owned. Nobody claims that they own something like that.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm more of I'm
What
asking
they
questions in kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
exploratory way, but
Yeah.
I'm
What
more
they
of a
what they own, what everybody wants to own is the an actual song, or an actual idea, or something like that, which is very specific. Like for example, I cannot go out and say, what, I cannot claim retro, for example. I cannot claim synthwave. I cannot claim retrowave and say, oh, what I'm having, my signature is 80s inspired stuff, and all you guys who do 80s inspired stuff should pay royalties to me because this idea doesn't belong to me. But also, it is my artistic identity. You know what I mean?
right.
This is something that's not really owned by anyone. And people people want to own the actual quantifiable ideas, and that's a song, for example. That's what it is, because it's got a certain melody, it's got certain lyrics. That's what they intellectual property, basically. That's what we're talking about
Right.
here, intellectual property. And I just think that intellectual property should be a bit more loose. But I think that the artists need to start challenging themselves about it.
Oh, I mean, I definitely agree with you about that. I do think that there should be a lot more uh, looser rein, a lot looser reins or more loose reins, whatever.
Yeah.
On
And the funny,
playing
the funny
live.
thing, the funny thing is that, or the bad thing, is that the copyright laws are actually getting more strict. The more sampling is used in music, the more strict the laws get. While it should be the other way around.
Oh yeah. Well, the more corporate everything gets too, the worse it's gonna get.
Well,
That's just the
obviously,
way it
yeah,
is.
obviously, yeah.
You got what the fuck am I trying to say? I forgot the word I'm trying to look. Algorithms.
The,
Yeah,
yeah,
algorithms finally just take a hold of all of it and
yeah.
and
That's
start
that's
importing
ridiculous.
IPs and shit. I mean, that's the future. That's the dystopian future that I
Yeah,
foresee,
yeah, totally,
unfortunately, when it comes
totally.
to intellectual property.
Totally, yeah, but what's really annoying is that the artists are not really doing anything just to do they they just go along with it, and that's what I hate
Oh,
personally.
I hate it too, man. I really fucking do.
Because I don't expect anything from the guys with the suits, but from the artists I do expect lots of things, and I
Yeah. So
get disappointed when nothing happens.
I heard that Cody Troglin, old PZA Pizza, I heard he got lambasted by the vaporwave musique concrete. I guess you could say
Yeah, you can.
vanguard.
But this avant-garde society, yeah.
For sampling a contemporary.
Sampling and contemporary, and the actual shitstorm happened because it was on the point that not only he sampled the contemporary, but he also didn't change the track enough. He simply
Oh,
he's simply slowing it down and nothing else. And I was just reading that stuff and thinking, okay, you're talking about 99% of vaporwave basically, because that's what they do,
right.
nothing else.
You gotta love when the vanguard of vaporwave have nothing else to nitpick and except for that. That's hilarious. That's
I
great.
know, I know. It's the whole thing is retarded, and and frankly, the people who it's always the same few people who are at the forefront of every shitstorm that happens. It's always the same people with the same complaints, but it's always the same.
But it's
And
and that's in
yeah,
every fucking genre of music too. There's
it is.
always those
It's
people.
in synthwave. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same 10 people. It's 10 names. You can put them on a wall, and it's just 10 names. It's always the
They
same.
remind me they remind me of the guys that I grew up playing guitar with, and they were like they were not the best, but they could hold their own on guitar pretty much, and they would just tear people down like all the time. Like that was all they ever did. You do better than that. That's nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're just gonna
yeah,
use the pentatonic scale. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
Whatever. Like that's what all that shit reminds me of, and it's so fucking hilarious because
Yeah, and in the equivalent in vaporwave, the equivalent of to that in vaporwave is you didn't add reverb, you just slowed it down. You should have added reverb at least.
which is hilarious. Every time you go into a vaporwave group, there's always some shit post on there of wah, 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 wah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
know.
this is literally just something slowed down. Like so, like
I love. You know what
where
I
is the
love?
complaint in that
I,
then?
I love. No,
It's
I'll tell you what it is. I really love every time I see this comment, and you will see this comment many times in vaporwave debacles. What you see is always, people say, you know what? Yeah, so what? He just sampled a song, he just slowed down. So what? That's vaporwave. And there's always a guy, not always the same guy, but there's always a guy who comes and says, that this is what happened with Macintosh Plus, with Florasop. And then there's always the other guy who always is there, and he always has the same reply. And the reply is, he didn't only slow it down, he also chopped it up. And I'm like, face palming myself. I mean, seriously, why
exactly.
are people fighting about something like
This
that?
is
It's so
not barbecue sauce because it doesn't have exactly 2 tablespoons of mustard in it. If it
yeah,
doesn't have
exactly.
that, it's not barbecue sauce. Like that's the same kind of argument that they're having pretty much. Is oh no, you've adulterated it to the point where it's lost its barbecue-ness. It's not barbecue sauce
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. And the real funny thing is that they're talking about a guy who sampled another guy, and those two guys they barely make money of music, both of them. And
Exactly.
who cares? I mean, it's so funny. I mean, you see, it all comes back down to this moralistic approach, if I may call it like that. That what's right, what's wrong, and we have to decide what's right and what's wrong all the time. And it's just really funny, to see the debates, and they always end up in you should have at least added a reverb. It's always
Well,
a reverb. That's
the biggest
where they draw the line.
the biggest problem that I see in these scenes and in groups and shit is that I don't think anyone understands the point of making music as a business. Like it's or like what value is. Like value is whatever the person's willing to pay for it. That's what that value is.
Hmm.
And you can change that value by having relationships with that person or that type of person or whatever. And it's hard to do it when you're by yourself when it's just you because you're just a pebble in the on the ocean or in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
But when you collect together and form like unions sort of that are all singular in their effort and in their vision to create value, you would have a real industry that not
Yeah.
only would actually provide people, some people, hardworking enough people, and as producers or whatever, with a living, with a sustainable living, but also with one that could actually start putting on its gloves and threatening the real industry
Yeah.
that's out there.
Actually, yeah, what you said right now is basically you just said what the synthwave producers community should have done but didn't do. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
seriously, well, it should have been big. It should have been bigger. There has to be something new. I'm trying to work on something like that. I'm trying to work on something new where it's it's not it's a meta label. Like it's not just a label, but it isn't really a label, and it has to have strong networks, and it has to have
yeah,
things like that. and I'm going to work on getting like a European distribution and getting, for tapes or whatever media out
Yeah.
there, and then trying to work on, doing that for another European conglomerate, and just working back and forth in kind of a hybrid global ashram commune type of thing with artists, but we all make revenue. We make something that we can live on, we can eat
Yeah.
from.
You
We're
you
not
see.
looking for ego
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
We're just
Exactly.
looking for
Exactly.
food.
Yeah, exactly. People don't understand. Well, many producers don't understand how this works or what it's all about, right? And it's all. I mean, when I'm asking for money because I sell a CD or because I sell a digital download, it's not because I just want money, because I have my day job and I just want some extra money. Well, I don't have a day job, and even if I had a day job, the money I get from music are supposed to actually be invested in music. So the next album I'm gonna make, I can have more CDs. I can have a
Right.
better artwork.
What's
I can
wrong?
have
What's
better
wrong with
mixing,
that?
and I can have a bigger project for you. The person who buys it. So
When did that
what do you say?
become vilified?
That I don't know. Well, in the synthwave producers community, at least it's half of the community is fine, and half of the community is like, I don't know what the hell is going on in their heads, basically, and to put it that way. And you see how the fact that in vaporwave, for example, nobody actually starts with the purpose of making even the slightest amount of money, and yet vaporwave ends up making more money than synthwave. Why does this
Well,
happen? Because people are more chill about it. People are like, yeah, okay, so we can sell more tapes. Cool, we'll sell more tapes, we'll make more money, we'll have more tapes next time. We're more cool about it. But people, well, not everyone, but producers in synthwave, many of them are like, how dare you ask for money? And so now you have something that makes more than $400 a month. You're a sellout.
there's
you don't
more
have this. You don't
passion.
have this in vaporwave.
There's more passion for nostalgia in vaporwave than there is in synthwave, in my opinion. I think because
Maybe, yeah.
I think there's a lot of happy passion in synthwave for nostalgia. I think there's a lot of sometimes some troubled or pained passion, but I think that the palette is way wider with vaporwave about
It is that
nostalgia. I think
in that sense. In that sense, it's true. And the thing is that, well, I don't know. I mean, when I first started listening to synthwave, which was when it started coming out, like 2012, almost 2013. That's where I started listening to it. At least it was a bit different because it felt like there's some people they really dig the 80s sound, and they want to do synthesizer music. Uh, and then as more and more people came in, it got flooded with people who basically just tried to enforce some nostalgia on it. And
yeah,
the
it
thing is that
became live
the
action
thing is
role
that
playing.
this is what you're describing in vaporwave, right? Nostalgia just happens to be there. Just happens to be there for some reason. But in synthwave, it like it's forced to be there. I mean, it has to sound like the 80s, but vaporwave doesn't has to sound like the 80s. It just happens. Or in the
No,
90s, it just happens, and that's why vaporwave has become much more popular, and even and that's funny. That's funny because a joke that is basically for fun. I mean, vaporwave is for fun. I'm not saying this in the sense that it's not art. I think it's art. I don't mean it's not serious art, because you can do funny things and being serious about them.
right.
Uh, but the fact that it's for fun, and it's done more in a chilled attitude, and for that it ended up making more money than synthwave and being even more popular than synthwave, says a lot about what needs to change in synthwave.
Yeah, well, also what happened with synthwave is synthwave became an outlet for metal. Like that's a,
Yeah,
that
that was a bad thing, because they brought all the bad things that closed metal circles have. That these closed circles of metal producers and artists that are like what you said before. Basically, they brought this on the synthwave scene, of the producers, and they brought this with them, and then it started becoming basically music making or music releasing or career building. Basically became a dick measurement contest.
Right.
That's what happened.
I mean, it's really interesting how that this synthwave is essentially dying, isn't it? I mean,
It's dead. It's dead.
it's yeah, right. I mean,
It's not dying. It's
essentially
dead.
And
Seriously. I want to say this because there were like 5 or 6 people out of the 200 people that I talked about this and that they disagreed with me. I mean, just look at how many synthwave albums are put out lately. Compare that to last year and to the year before.
oh, it
Then
was robust.
compare how much
To
how much labels are selling. Synthwave labels are selling today, and how much they were selling 2 years ago or 1 year ago even. Just go 1 year back.
well, I mean,
Then
Oberon
look how many good synthwave artists have moved on. Look how much engagement groups like Synthetics is the biggest group in synthwave, right? It
Yeah.
was and it always will be. Look at go have a look for a moment and see how little people even bother to go there and check what's posted and talk about it. It's not
That's very
Synthetics'
true.
fault. It's not the fault of Synthetics. It just happens. I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
The death of synthwave happened, and I don't think it's the fans. I think it's the producers that brought it inadvertently and advertently. I think it's the producers that brought this down in the scene. You know.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, they were no fun. They were no fun, and also it became, like I said, live action role play. You know, people are like, "No, I'm action Tom Jackson, '80s Miami." You don't understand. Like that's who I really am. I'm like, no, you're not. Stop it. Stop that. I'm an artist. I'll tell you what's what. I'll tell you how it goes. And it died. You know, synthwave died, and Perturbator and Ghost essentially rose out of that to
Yeah,
essentially take the title. You know, and there's
and
nothing anyone can really do about that.
they are doing their own thing, which is basically not synthwave. You know, they're doing their own thing, and that's great. You know, because they're doing their own. They rose out of it, yeah, and they do their own thing, and now everybody's like everybody's into Perturbator and Ghost, and you know, I mean, people who didn't know about synthwave, right? And now the current situation with synthwave is that it has become a thing where it's basically creativity is stagnant, right? Everything that comes out is completely amateurish in form. And I'm not saying amateurish in the sense that they don't know what they're doing. I'm saying amateurish in the sense that it's coming out from people who have no interest in music. They don't have interest in how many people their music is generates. They don't care about if they're going to gain an audience. They don't care about if their message is going to run across the world or if it's going to. It's fine to them if 20 people in a Facebook group listen to them and tell them, "Wow, you're the best." That's fine to them. That's where their ambition about music and art ends.
Hobbyists, yeah,
And that's a problem. That's a problem.
yeah,
It's not a problem when you have people like this alongside artists who really care about it.
right.
It's not a problem then, but it's a problem if the only thing you have is this. And right now in synthwave, at least, the only thing you have is this. The people who are serious about synthwave and who are serious about retro music in general are just doing their own thing. They're basically more or less they're not even synthwave anymore. I mean, many of them have introduced new crossovers into it. I mean, some of my personal favorites, for example, Metalvin and I stuck and I can't remember his name. And he's my favorite as well. You know when you get stuck and you just can't remember the name, but you had it in your name. Come on, say it. Wave Sapper. I remember him. Yeah, Wave Sapper and Methodly, for example, who are two of my favorites, right? They're heavily 80s, but at the same time they go one step beyond synthwave. You know what I mean? And all these guys. I mean, they're doing well, and they will do well in their careers. I know they will if they keep making music. I know that they'll keep growing. Because their ambition, at least that's what I think, their ambition goes far beyond. Okay, I'm gonna make a song, and I want 20 people in Synthetics to tell me it's awesome.
Right.
That's how I feel, at least. And we need more people like that less people that are going to be like this, and then are going to be like, oh, who waves, but he doesn't even talk to us anymore because he's all, he's in new retro wave now,
Yeah.
or VHS Dreams is
It's
a sellout because he's using a house kick in his synthwave tracks. How dare you use a house
house.
kick? House is forbidden.
Yeah, man. Speaking of new retro wave, I got there was a review of Oberon Crystal Bear's album EP on new retro.
Who?
Oberon,
I don't know
Oberon,
this. I
Crystal
haven't
Bear.
heard it. Oh yeah, Crystal Bear.
Brendan,
Yeah, yeah. What, he had a review there? A review.
yeah, it is. Oh my god, he'll kill me if I got his name wrong. But Crystal Bear. Uh, Anyways, we got a review on New Retro Wave, and a good review. It wasn't bad at all. It was a very
Yeah.
favorable review, and nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. So I think the problem is that it's a paper house. There is no real substance to any of it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no real tastemakers. They're just
Yeah.
guys who say they're tastemakers.
But they're not.
And no, they're not. And that's the thing. And that's because the only way to do that is not by yourself. You just can't do it. You just can't do it by yourself, plain and simple. If you want to have a label, you can do it by yourself. If you want to be a producer, you can do that by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you want to reach a certain height, or you want to have a certain amount of zeros in your bill, on your invoice that you send out to for whatever service you do,
Yeah.
then you got to have people. You got to have a lot more than you to do that, and that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's good. Charlotte, shut the dogs up. I'm having a live conversation. Yeah. Due to an unfortunate, to a series of unfortunate events, I found myself again in my girlfriend's house, where there are many dogs, which I despise as animals in general for philosophical reasons. I'm one of those guys who has a whole theory about why he hates dogs and loves cats. I'm one of those freaks.
I'm a cat person. I mean, I won't turn a dog away to pet them, but I don't want a dog.
Yeah,
And
I don't really hate them. I mean, I don't like people who hurt the dogs, but because I
right.
like all animals. But I don't. Yeah, I'm not a dog person at
Unless
all.
to feed your family with the meat. I'll feed my fucking family with the meat of a dog. I don't give a shit. Fuck.
Yeah. By the way, did you find a way? Did you find a way
between
to
me and that goddamn dog? That dog's dead. My kids are eating. Oh man! But
did you find a way to share the chat, to share the live stream?
I sent a look in your Facebook PM, and there's a link to the live video.
Well, we must post it on Twitter and ask people if they can join us.
Ah.
Right.
Throw it up on your Twitter. You've got a much better Twitter than I do. My Twitter's dead because I just Twitter
Okay.
gets my nerves. Like
Okay.
I on my personal account, I grew up a pretty good number for a while before I just stopped using it. But on deep web, like it's just fuck. The Twitter is so stupid for that for that platform.
Yeah, it is.
And like I said, like I'm going to be reaching out to labels pretty soon to I want a couple of more sales under my belt, and I want to kind of have some credit with customers and things like that first. And after that, like I'm going to start reaching out to other labels to start working on kind of like these mergers almost. But meaning that like a distribution, first of all, physical distribution on each continent, and then working on ways to kind of work together on promo and sharing networks and people and contacts and things like that. And just trying to build it from scratch like that, and trying to see what can be made. I really think that you look back at the history of mega producers who did really well and things like that. It's very not very often you get some dude who was just a loner who loaned his way all the way up to the top. It's not that often. You get
Yeah,
people. I mean,
you need people. You need people who support you. You need people who are who don't support you just because they want to get something back. You need people who who love your art, who love you as a person, and who want to like just do the best. I think this outlook needs to prevail. You know.
yeah, it does. It really does. There needs to be that in everything, and then they all need to go and meet on the battlefield of of commerce and see who likes who and how to work on how to work on it and there needs to be real stratifications
Yeah.
in things. There needs to be some real admitting that you are trying to make money off of this, not because you're greedy, but because you want to make a living. This is what you love to
Not
do. This is your
Yeah,
passion.
yeah. It's not just making living, which is great. I mean, I don't understand why nobody would want to wake up in the morning and to be preoccupied with what the music he makes. I mean, is there anybody out there who's like? And I know people say that, and it's absolutely retarded, but and it's a lie. But people say, you know what? I just don't want to make money from music. I wanna have my city 9 to 5 job that I hate, and I just want to be tired all the time because it's a city job, and I just want to have 1 hour per day to make music because that's my dream and passion. Fuck you, Mister. If you really expect me to believe that,
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
and if anybody does feel like this, it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace
the
to the artist community. I get it if somebody says, yeah, I just like music. I just like making music. That's perfect. Because I was like
the
that. Everybody's like that. I mean, that's how you start anyway. Everybody starts
yeah,
like this.
it's true.
But if you tell me that this is your ambition, if you tell me that you prefer to do this because if you make money from your music, you're a sellout, then you're a retard. That's
Yeah,
what I
I
have to
mean,
say.
the kind of the noble savage in me, the social animal in me. When I hear that, I'm just like, yeah, I understand, blah blah blah. But the artist in me who's had to, you know, bleed and sweat and
Yeah,
fucking do
yeah.
crazy shit,
You have to sacrifice.
live on the
It,
streets, shit like that. I mean, like that person in me gets livid when I hear that because I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like,
yeah, and that's
you
and
know,
at some point this is what prevailed in the producers scene, and everybody was like, I just do it I just do it for myself because I love music, and so and all that.
we'll as steady as she goes. No judgment. We're here for making music here, guys. No judgment.
Yeah, yeah, and this lack of an ambition became something that is loathed, by and it's terribly stupid because these people, like, I mean, if you do that, right, if you don't sacrifice for your art, and if you just do it for yourself, as you say, not for the fans and not for art and not for culture, not for society, not for anything, but you only do it just because you like to play the piano, right, and then you criticize others because they want something more out of it. I just think it's wrong. I just think I think it's and these people claim passion. They say I don't do it I do it for the passion. No, you don't have a passion. You have a 9 to 5 job and you don't have time to make music. You don't even care about people listening to your music.
Yeah,
What is your passion? What
I
is your
think
passion?
I think it's like a microaggression. I think it's like the from the new school of social justice. I think
Yeah,
to kind of use a term. It's kind of like that. I mean, I think it's those kind of people
passion,
tend to be
passion.
toxic. They tend to
They
be.
are. They
You know
are.
what I
But
mean?
this is why I quit all synth with groups. This is the reason. There's no other reason apart from that. And I
Right.
have friends there. And I have friends there. And I didn't want to quit because of my friends there. But I just quit because of that. Because these people are not getting removed out of the communities. And I don't mean blocked. I mean removed as in like, everybody needs to tell them you're an idiot. That's what I
Well,
mean. I mean by removed.
they all got in line, dick in hand, there to fuck Karate King hardcore. Like,
Where is he?
like,
Where is he? You should invite him in the chat.
he never wants to do these podcasts. I've got him to do
Where is
one
he?
podcast and that's it. It was a drunk cast, and I still have it. I just never released it, but
Where is Karate King? Yeah, you know.
I wish he would come up here. He doesn't even need to do video, just do audio.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't want to do the stuff. I know he didn't want to do it back then. But yeah, well, here's the thing though. These people, right? They are toxic because they claim that they're all about the passion, and you are all about other things, and like success. Woo, such a bad thing, success. People listen to your music, and millions of fans love your music. How dare you accept that in your life? Anyway, yeah, I think passion is to sacrifice things for your music and your art. I think passion is to care about your fans, because if you only care about yourself, then what's the point? You're masturbating basically. That's what you're doing. I mean, I want people to listen to my music, and I want people to criticize my music, good or wrong. But I want, for me, everything happens for the reaction. I want to I mean, the artwork, whether it's visual or it's for me, it's complete once it initiates an action from the audience. If I make a song and I keep it here, and it's just listening to it myself, it's not complete. I mean, the completion
Right.
comes with a reaction from the audience, right? I think
Music is
when you're
propaganda.
passionate, that's what you care about. You care about
Yeah.
people's reaction. You care about people whether they love it or hate it. You care about sacrificing things of your own life, money as well, in order to promote your music and your message. And yes, music is propaganda. And now we reach the point where I have to say about my next album that I am using heavily propaganda aesthetics. Like if,
You
even
should. You don't
it's
want to be a
on well,
vegetarian
it's
stick.
kind of satirical. It's satirical, but yeah, I mean, it is propaganda. You propagate yourself. That's what you do. You
Yeah,
propagate
it's
yourself.
personal propaganda or whatever your
Yeah,
cause, is. I mean, you got to think corporations are willing to pay an artist a lot of money to essentially hypnotize people with music to buy something, to
yeah,
make them feel something. Well, then it has to be some kind of, propaganda. Has to be some kind of hypnosis involved with that, right? I mean, some kind of thing, because it has to. But yeah, to me, when I when I see things going around with labels and shit, I only see really like the vaporwave labels as the nicer ones. Like I always look at them and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, they're really nice. I mean, I
yeah,
know there's bullshit and there's drama everywhere and all that
yeah.
stuff,
There is occasional drama. Yeah,
but they seem pretty cool. The other, like the synthwave labels, was like a battlefield. At one point, like it was weird. Just
yeah.
crazy
They
shit tends to
were
happen with them.
at some point in late 2013, some labels tried to undermine some other labels, and their labels retaliated back and stuff. Yeah, it happens. Well, it doesn't happen anymore because the labels in Synthwave right now are either inactive or are shutting down soon. And I'm not gonna tell. I have inside information about labels. I'm
Ooh.
I'm not gonna tell because. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell which labels, three labels I have in mind. I'm not gonna tell which labels because obviously it's their business and they want to like do
Is it
stuff
deep web
before
music?
before.
Is it? Is it? Have you heard? Have you heard on good authority that?
I've heard that deep web label sucks major time. But no, no, seriously. I mean, there are labels who are putting themselves on hold because basically they don't sell enough to justify bothering about releasing music anymore. I'm not gonna say which because it's their business. I don't want them to just I want them to follow their plan before they shut down. So I'm not gonna say who told me all this stuff. But I mean, yeah, I think here's what I think.
Tell
Synthwave
me
as
what
a
you think.
I will tell you what I think.
Tell me.
I will
Tell me
tell
what you
you.
think.
Hey, remember we're on live. Kids might be watching.
Children.
Please
Children.
take your children off screen if you're parents right now and you're like.
You better get your kids off this podcast right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that here's what I think that will happen with synthwave, right? First of all, synthwave will never die, in the sense that no genre ever dies. Even if there are 5 people listening to it, it's alive.
Right.
If you want to call it alive, but technically speaking, right now it's very dead. It's a corpse,
Yeah.
and people are raping the corpse right now. They're
Well,
defiling the corpse. They refuse to bury it, and they defile it.
well. Speaking
But
of
here,
speaking,
here's what will happen though.
what will
It
happen?
will survive. It will survive, but through a new wave of artists and through a new wave of sound. I mean, it's gonna be a bit like. I really like the fact that those guys I mentioned earlier and other producers now invest money on their art, and you get better mixing, you get better mastering out, you get better artworks, and you see that all around happening, you know,
So you're
and
saying
the
we're
standards.
going to the era post synthwave, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, we are entering post
Post
synthwave,
retro,
post retro. Yeah, yeah,
post
exactly.
retro. I get it. Okay, post
Post retro
retro.
age where the standards are higher, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for music as well. But you see, we had to go through like this this apocalyptic scenario first, you know,
Right. Well,
and
speaking of
then
post
it's
synthwave, though, I gotta give a shout out real quick to Karate King, because he's doing the Annihilator 2, his
yeah,
sequel to his smash hit
yeah, but that's
soundtrack,
yeah,
mock-up soundtrack, whatever you want to call it. I want to give a shout out to him because I've got a personal, I've gotten personal involvement in both of them, but I got to be personally involved with the guys who were making it and got to hear their whips, their work in progress. For you
yeah.
non-producer folks out there, and you ever see whip, you want to hear my whip, and you're like, "The fuck are you talking about, whip?" It's not a whip; it's a work in progress. It's a WIP. You feel me? So
Yeah.
I got to hear some of them. They're really good. I got Takahashi Jones up in there, and it's really, really good. It's so I want
Yeah.
to give a shout out up there. I'm doing 3 tracks, 2 Q tracks, and 1 major track, and it's actually a dark synth track. It's my first
Nice,
foray
nice.
into
He,
like
yeah, they asked me to take part in this compilation as well and make a track.
and you laughed on top of your mountain and said, "I will not."
Exactly.
Went back to your mountain and rested.
No, I just looked down like, who are you again? I'm sure I don't know you. Do I know you? Then why are you bothering me with your feeble, with your feeble business proposals? Does it pay 3,000 euros in royalties per day? I'm not interested.
That'd
If
be
it's
nice.
less.
That'd be really nice.
No, it's yeah. I just didn't have like you're doing this theme, and I wasn't much into it because I've moved on from that sound, and I'm just doing mainstream stuff. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like. I mean, I would do it. I told him I'll do it if I feel like got time. Like you know, if in my free time I have an idea, I'll just sit down and do it. But I didn't because in my free time I just sit around Facebook self promoting myself and then going back to my creeping depression because nobody likes my posts.
No, you have to add the crippling anxiety and the crippling
I
depression.
have crippling depression. Yeah, it's. Speaking of which, have you noticed that Facebook is dying as well? Irrelevant from synthwave.
Man, it's not as vibrant. Yeah, it's not as robust and vibrant as it was before in the artist community. But I think it's a time to take advantage of it. To be quite honest, I mean that's what I'm thought about doing, trying to leverage
Let me
hits
give
that
you.
I've.
Let me give you an example. I shared our live feed here. I shared it in my post about half an hour, and I got 0 likes so far. Although that may mean that they just don't give a shit about us, but
No, it means
at
it really means just
it
everyone's like,
happens though. It happens. Yeah, I mean, if you know, I just see it on everything I share. Like I post something on Facebook, right? Anything. If I did this like 6 months ago, I would definitely get the standard 20 people who would like it, and now it's 0. I mean, it's like totally. It has gone freefall downwards. The engagement in Facebook in general.
like Lao Tzu, you rode on your yak out of the continent of synthwave. I mean, you left them. I mean, what do they want with you?
What happened? I don't have feed.
you left your fans for vaporwave, so they got hurt, and then the war of 2016 happened, and then the scene died, and then
In a bit.
there's no one to hear the tales of VHS dreams anymore. Now you're a post
It's
synthwave
okay.
artist.
They're gonna hear the tales of the VHS Streams Foundation now.
Yeah, so tell me about this VHS Foundation that you've got going on here. What is this?
I cannot hear you.
Hello.
Just a second, please.
All
Gonna
right.
shut down all that.
Gonna shut down all these buttons.
Because I can't hear you. Did you say anything? Because I couldn't hear you. Because I had no sound.
Can you hear me now?
Fuck. No.
No sound at all. We've got a little technical difficulty, everybody.
Oh yeah, you're back. You're back. Yeah, this is why I changed to change the name to VHS Dreams Foundation. I'm gonna still release music occasionally as VHS Dreams, and I'm also gonna put other stuff out as VHS Dreams Foundation. I mean, my album. The music is gonna be the same. I mean, it's gonna still be synthwave and stuff, but I changed the name because I also, because I wanted to bring more art into it. I want to do like exhibition with visual art about this whole alternate universe and stuff. And I felt VHS Dreams as a name is not doesn't say much about doesn't encompass this whole thing. And I put the foundation because it sounds like an art foundation, like a post art foundation,
I hate to interrupt you, but we have a surprise guest onto the podcast. We have Cody Troglan, PZA. About to send him the invite right now.
Awesome.
Let's see what happens. All right. This is going to be exciting. Try casting. 3 people better than 1 or 2 because it's more than both. And that's really what happens when you eat Pizza Hut pizza, everyone. Pizza Hut Pizza, the only company that has made a grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Pizza Hut Pizza is one of the best pizzas out there on earth. If you believe me, please go to your nearest Pizza Hut facility.
You sold that. You sold.
Purchase one.
You sold out to your sponsors, didn't you?
I don't know. I don't really subscribe to selling out to my sponsors, but when I do subscribe, I subscribe to PewDiePie. That's PewDiePie.
See, that's one thing. That's one thing I had proposed once and tried to push it a bit in 2014 in synthwave. I recommended that everybody who does like podcasts or blogs and stuff. I recommended that everybody we should like introduce this this kind of like sponsorship among ourselves. So if you have a show,
right,
you can say take this label. If you have a sponsorship with that label, but nobody cared as always.
Well,
I mean, synthetics did
me because that sounds like a good idea.
Synthetics did it, and Neon Vice, when it still was around, did it as well. Those two did it. It's like you have a special partnership. Like for example, I have a partnership with your podcast, and I have a label, so I put your podcast logo and links on my label's banners everywhere. You do the same at yours. And you also feature more frequently my label's releases, and stuff. And I always promote you on Facebook saying, check this, because I recommended this, like, let's just do a sponsorship thing, like you just did,
We need some kind of name for everybody collectively. That's what's missing.
Well, that's what's missing too, yeah. But I just want to say that I thought it was a great idea to help each other, I mean, you promote me, I promote you, and people should do that instead of in general. Blogs with labels, nobody cared. Apart from synthetics did it, and Neon Vice as well. But nobody else really cared to pursue this.
I'm interested in something like that. That's what I'm interested in. I think that's more subversive than anything else. Creating your own little world.
Society. You need to create a society that's functional, not just like some people that come together because they just don't have anything better to do, and they're just stuck in this circle that you have to go through 10 steps of initiation, which include ass fucking and ass licking and stuff. All
right, he's downloading the software. He's about
from his cave.
His cave. I don't even know if there's a language that ever says cave for cave, but I said it.
Yeah, probably Welsh or something. Celtic.
Yeah, it's to me. I think when we're in this postmodern era of music making and shit. I mean, it's up to us to create something to sell to people and use music as kind of the vehicle. Or
Should we start using and propagate, as you said before, the term post synthwave? I think we should. I think we should.
Someone's going to anyways. I mean, there's already a
Yeah, someone's gonna go do that. Yeah, someone's gonna go do that soon. So I think we should do it first.
Yeah, post synthwave. I mean, really, it should be called post internet. I mean, in all reality,
that exists already. Vaporwave got their first. Yeah, Vaporwave got their first. You see this tagged into Vaporwave songs.
That's crazy. But I mean, we should call it post internet then.
Yeah. Or meta internet or something.
But they're really, that's what I was trying to say with RADM, back in the day. There needs to be some kind of coherence.
Oh, there he is. He's here.
What is up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Here. What's good?
What's up?
Oh, just waking up. I've been sleeping a lot.
You've been sleeping a lot? Is it
VHS streams on vinyl? Person on cassette? What is going on? Look at this.
Hey, turn yourself up some more if you can. Can you
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me at all?
Oh, I can hear
me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm just saying, you guys don't sample things because people will make fun of you on Reddit.
We were talking about this whole debacle that happened.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. You wanna talk
yeah,
about it?
Let's talk about it. We were just talking about the nuanced arguments that were made about why when someone else slows it down and chops it up, it's one thing, but when you slow something down, it's another, and that's just completely ripping off. But
yeah,
when you chop it, it's not ripping off at all.
It's kind of ironic to see all these Macintosh Plus cassettes go for $350 on this fucking Diana Ross song slow down.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to, as I was saying before. And you see, at least look at it from the bright side. Okay, there's a very clear line, and you cannot miss it. If you slow down a song, you're a fraud. If you slow down a song and add reverb to it, it's fine. So next time, don't forget to add reverb.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do.
It's a good thing. I mean, the line is clear at least. We know where to.
Exactly. I'm just more on lines now, just doing just pure electronica, not sampling shit.
Oh, the demo you sent me for the Vapor Trap compilation is really nice.
Thank you.
I really like it. And you have 2 songs in there. You have a collaboration with Babri Keki as well. It's gonna go in there. The Resort 99 or something was.
Yeah, no, that song is fucking awesome.
That song is awesome.
I really like working with Bubble. Like that guy.
He's very good. I think Babri is very good.
He's got that soothing rain stick sound. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, he does.
It's surprising because he's German.
Because that's just funny for some reason. He's German.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. It's true.
He's
I have lots of the wooden chimes that I like to play over
his passport might be German, but his heart is roots deep into African tribes.
And, this is the thumb piano. I've been playing this for a while. I'm ready to put it inside of my songs. This is from Zimbabwe. Yeah, and it was my grandmother's. Oh man.
He's tuning his music in 440 hertz because the Nazis established this tuning.
Change your DNA.
Yeah, the 440
will change if you change it.
By the way, By the way, Nazis are the best fans, you know.
Are the best what?
Fans. Because they
Funds?
buy fans, music fans.
Oh, fans. Nazis are the best fans. Are they?
Yeah, they buy everything and they bring their friends along.
Do they really?
And nobody else does this. Nobody else does this. And I'm saying this as an anarchist, okay?
Right.
So you better listen. So you better listen and learn. You know?
Oh man, Nazis make the best customers. They always pay. They buy everything too. Everything. Keychains and everything.
Yeah, those lefts just want everything for free, you know, everything's sharing with everybody.
You need to start now. You're starting to sound like those leftists wants everything for free. Leave my country.
Yeah,
They will have
answer
3
me.
days to leave my country, or they will die.
I'm becoming I'm becoming the Alex Jones of music. Do you answer
The
this?
globalist.
Answer this.
Documents.
Oh, so you think I'm a conspiracist? Answer to me this simple question: why Russians are the ones that always seek free music? Why is it Russians and not anybody else? Because it's leftovers from the Soviet Union.
They're savages and they don't give a fuck. They'll do it. They'll just download it and take it. They have websites in Russia that just like rip. Like if I put a song out right now on SoundCloud for 2 people to listen to, it will pop up on a Russian site. It's weird, but like they have like robust, powerful little programs that just like rip the whole internet.
It's the power of the blonde race. It's seriously though. Seriously, if you have internet while you're producing, you better shut it down because they can rip it while you're producing and upload it on torrent. Where's Cody? Is he gone?
I will let you have your computer back as long as you take this pride snare off. No more. Listen, American, I do not want you to stop producing. Just please change your kick. Yeah, that would be crazy. Can you imagine like a ransomware hacker hacking into you in mid-production and then giving you critique? Like
That would be sweet.
That would be. Be taking over your computer and being like, you need to pay me $29, and by the way, that track is total fire, bro. If
you know what they do, right? They these Russian sites, they put on torrents albums that are free. I mean, why would you do that? Doesn't make sense.
I think here's what I think. I think that they were. It's that post. And I know it's a while ago, but it's that post-Soviet kind of culture of they've done shit themselves for so long. You know what I mean? And I think it just translated off into the internet. I mean, I don't think there's for some of those
That's what they said.
Fans. Yeah, there's just no limits for them. They just fucking take it. Or they'll fucking back in the 80s they were
do the German accent. Do the German accent and say something about communism leading to free digital downloads. I want to hear that.
Yeah, and communism will, in fact, enact. Oh God, communism will enable all the free downloads across the entire internet. Free music for everyone. This is what the communists want.
You know what I find? You know what I find interesting. Communist era music is very characteristic. I mean, it's got everything is it has a huge core, and they are like you know what I'm talking about, right? It has a certain style, and many of those songs can be very easily ripped off and be made into anything you like. You know, just rip the melody, you know, and do anything you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's I didn't listen to all that Kosmish stuff like back in the day, that kind of old Russian synth pop and so like that. I never listened to. I mean, heard it when I got my synthetics and shit. You can't escape it. but I never heard it until then. It was never my style of stuff. I was always more like, into vocals. I do like Alexander Rosenbaum though. I think that's a good Russian songwriter. That's a good one. I've done a couple of his songs before, but yeah. Anyway,
I like the yeah. Okay, let's stop.
Off topic.
Yeah,
Cody,
stop talking about.
Tell me, tell me exactly what happened then from your
standpoint. I can't tell you everything because the enemies may be listening. You know what I mean?
They surely are. They surely are.
Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter now. I can kind of say what I fucking want to. But I think that there was. Okay, what's the question again? Say it again.
The question was, do you dab, and when you do you do it alone?
I dab, and sometimes I do. It depends on the scenario. If I'm with people, I'll dab, but if I'm alone, I'll dab. It just depends on the moment of time and everything.
I completely feel what you're saying right there. No, we were talking about your vaporwave debacle from sampling a contemporary
Reddit.
On Reddit.
Can I say something?
Take it to Reddit.
Can I say something to Cody? Just a second, Cody, do you remember a while after this, some guy popped up and he declared himself like a crusader against all kinds of sampling, and he would start like reporting all the vaporwave labels to copyright holders and stuff. Do you remember this? And he had a name. What was the name though? I can't remember. They were a team and they were the. Do you remember the name?
Is it Dank Vibes?
No, it's Sample Stoppers. That's what the name. We are the Sample Stoppers.
Oh.
Gotham needs
me. Do you remember that? And they said, from now on, they said they're gonna start like reporting, cataloging labels and reporting. And they were going to report Bedlam and stuff, to the copyright holders.
They went full Matrix on you guys.
They wanted to. Their mission, their self-proclaimed mission, was to eradicate sampling from vaporwave. Seriously, if this guy who did this is not some idiot, but he's an artist, then this is one of the best performance art pieces I've ever seen.
that's hilarious. Like sample stoppers.
Sample.
Saying you want to take the pizza and the sauce and cheese off a pizza.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or the pizza of a sauce and cheese.
Without cheese sauce, I mean, all you got is bread, and it's like
all you've got is bread.
It could be decent bread, but it could be pretty shitty bread.
But then it would be a focaccia.
Yeah.
I think we got derailed again on the subject.
We got derailed by fucking focaccia. I swear to fucking
God. I want to say people are listening right now because I advertised on Twitter and stuff, and they leave comments telling me how much of an idiot I am and stuff. So please be serious, guys. Okay.
Are they really?
My reputation is on the line.
Fuck you.
My reputation is on the line. My reputation is on the line.
They're really doing that.
Karate King and Ken Singthrock ruined synthwave in my life.
I wish Karate King would jump on in this conversation too. Those would be great.
RDM.
Oh my God, Karate King's about to join us.
No, I wish.
Oh, well.
This has to happen one day, though. Seriously, it has to happen one day. It has to happen
really
somehow.
Does. Because Daniel's always been chill as fuck with me. He was like, I think right after the whole Reddit thing, he was like one of the first people who've been like, I don't give a fuck. Listen to this masterpiece that PZA gave us.
Yeah.
I'm just like, right on.
Man, I didn't even. I was going through personal drama. I didn't even know what was going on with all that business. I came back onto the scene and then heard about it. I'm like, what? That's some crazy shit. But
dude, I just been through. Yeah, they just. I don't know. I guess people wanted me to pay for it, to suffer.
So what were some of the things that they did or wanted to do to you or whatever? I mean, did they report you? Or what did they do?
They didn't really report me. It was just more on the lines of like me getting like weird death threats on Twitter.
Whoa.
Which I feel like is like if you're reached any sort of, I guess, fame or whatever the fuck, it's like Reddit's your place to, or Twitter is the place where you're gonna either like
Right.
get your hate mail, you know.
Right.
So
Whoa,
I don't really
so
care.
You got pizza death threats.
I got pizza death threats.
Like what can you is there any of them that you remember that you could tell us? Did they
I remember one being like, I want to fuck your mom. I remember the other one is like, I'm going to kill you and bury you in my backyard. Just like shit like that, dude.
And that's
I'm just like, oh cool.
Put it into
I'm
put it into
invested in this conflict.
Put it into perspective. Put it into perspective and realize that you get this because you slow down a song. I mean, seriously, we've entered an era of art that is so exciting. If you get Tetris for that.
That would shoot somebody over a professional wrestler. I mean, that's just really the truth.
Oh, yeah, of course.
CM Punk was too natural. He never did nothing.
Yeah, well, you know, that's
still real to me, damn it.
The whole thing about CM Punk, and you know, this always happens though. I mean, it's you always got the MMA guys talking shit about SmackDown and stuff.
Oh,
and but
Punk
did you see the match?
Oh, I did.
I didn't expect anything from CM Punk, really. I mean, it's good for him that he goes
a bit of a fight on the ground. I mean, he didn't get submitted.
Yeah.
For the first attempt,
he
did the right things. The problem was that he had a chance to turn and try to get guard again, and he turned and gave his back, and he got put in a really bad position. The problem was that like the kid that he fought, his stand-up was way too advanced for anything that he could have caught up to. So they had this plan of kind of jumping right in his face and trying to pressure him, and then try to get top on their own terms. And what happened was he got way too aggressive, way too soon, jumped right up in his face, and the kid just jumped or dropped down, double leg takedown, and then it was just
yeah.
But really good,
he is. Speaking of wrestling, I'm actually watching, and I'm not even joking. I'm watching videos about wrestling training from Al Snow, and the teachings and advice.
Like pro wrestling training or like wrestling training, like
pro wrestling. He was for the WWE, the trainer for the WWE, and you see backstage what's going on, and he's doing seminars and stuff, and he's really good. He gives very good advice. It's very insightful, and the thing is that I apply this WWE advices on my music career, and it works. I can guarantee it works.
What's an example?
I'm trying to think of one. He was talking to the students, to the aspiring wrestlers, and he was telling them how to build anticipation. And he was like, you need, if you go with a bang, and then you continue, nobody cares after what happens after the bang, and you have to like go do this and this and that, and then you have to slowly go down the back. Well, I just apply the same thing to music promotion. I mean, everything. If I want to know stuff about how to promote my music and about my music career, I just go watch wrestling tutorials. Seriously, I'm not even joking.
Oh, no doubt, man. I mean, that stuff is. I've always said that. First of all, to do the business they do, you have to have a special perspective. Society, because you have to stay current.
Yeah, exactly. And because especially wrestling is about the spectacle, because obviously they're not like it's not a fighting sport. It's basically about the spectacle.
It's a precarious show. It's very precarious. You have to do it a certain way, or it's
or otherwise you fuck it up. You fuck it up otherwise. Yeah, and it's he gives all this advice about how to keep audience entertained. Things you need to avoid.
Where do you get this advice? Is it on YouTube?
I get it on a channel called, I'm gonna find it right now. They actually posted the video recently. Let me find it. It's Hannibal. I think it's called Hannibal TV or something. Wait.
Are you sure it's not like Hamster X or something like that? And this is like an elder bear kind of teaching his
the honey
sense of youth and manhood. and guiding him in his journey towards
No,
extravagance.
it's called the Hannibal TV, and it generally.
Hannibal, I know you're talking about like the. No, I don't. No, I thought it was Vlad TV. Never mind, I got it completely mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just watching. I just like Al Snow is his name, the guy. He's called Al Snow, and I just like his attitude about the business, and he's really insightful, you know. And he tells the kids who are learning how to wrestle, he tells them like, you know, how to survive in the business, basically, you know, and how to not fuck the business up and stuff, and how not to fuck the mullets, and how to keep the audience, you know, entertained all the way and stuff. So if you take this and apply it to music, I've actually experimented with it and it works. So this is an advice for aspiring musicians out there. Go check wrestling tutorials.
Yeah, I definitely second that motion. It's some good stuff. Like I said, they have to stay current, so there's a kind of a weird science to the writing and everything, because you have to have your finger on the pulse of people.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed by the writing, though. I mean, the last 5 years.
I haven't.
WWE has gone to shit, if you ask me. I mean, I still watch it, but
I haven't kept up with wrestling since WCW.
Oh, so you go that way, that back, you know.
I mean, ever since when WCW fell apart, like that's when I stopped watching wrestling. It got all crazy, and I wasn't watching it regularly until then. At that point, as a kid, though, it was a religion for me. Like, wrestling was a religion. It was a way of life. And but yeah.
Oh, you can come in if you want.
So Cody, I just knocked my microphone right up into my grill.
I saw that.
It was bad.
It looked cool though.
It was padded though, so it kind of was just like, hi, hello there.
Hey,
we made contact. That's all. But so anyways, what's new in your world? You're like releasing an album every day at this point, right?
Do you steal artists again, Cody? Are you doing this again?
No, I'm not.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
I'm doing it all on my own. Doing it all. I'm doing it
Telling
all
lies.
myself.
Do you have your sport shoes on? Does anyone know about the Finger Family? Has anyone heard about this Finger Family thing? This Finger Family conspiracy thing?
What?
Hey kids, YouTube channel. No one's. Oh my God, you guys gotta understand. Like, there's this conspiracy about there's weirdness about these channels for kids on YouTube. Like, they do this mommy finger, where are you? Like, it's everywhere, all across YouTube. And
what?
There was this one channel called Hey Kids, and it had this Indian guy who was like in the most grotesque. If any of you like George, if you're in your computer, like look up Hey Kids YouTube channel and you can see the pictures. It's grotesque. It's this grotesque looking person, and not
Hey Kids.
Yeah.
Hey Kids.
And it's like the face is all distorted and shit. And then he comes up like Hitler, like, and it's like he's talking to kids the whole time. He's like, "Do you have your sport shoes on? Do you have your sport shoes on? Do you want to learn to tie your shoes? Do you want me to pull up your pants? Does your mother beat you? Did she beat you when you do bad things? If she does not beat you, I will beat you."
Oh yeah, I see it now.
I see it. It's real.
I see it now.
Terminated. But he did these Finger Family, like look up toys in Japan on YouTube, and you'll see some of the most disturbing little kids, YouTube Finger Family shows. I mean, obviously, I think there's like Donald Trump and Hitler and all these other people dancing in skulls. I mean, it's a trip.
Hey, listen to what I just found. Wait, on Google.
Watch.
Listen to this. Is the Hey Kids children's YouTube channel controlled by Nazi AI gone rogue?
I am run by hybrid human AI. You will be hybrid human one day. Like that's. I mean, he's just talking to these kids, and like it's so creepy. It's fucking real. And he's, "Hello, I am on the moon, on the secret base on the moon," and he'd be dressed like Hitler. One of them, he was dressed like Darth Maul. It was really weird.
That's just pretty weird.
Anyways,
I'm gonna have to check that out and dive into that.
Yeah, that's a creepy, rainy night shit to when you're alone to get into, is the Finger Family. Because here's the thing, they get released like every minute. One of these videos get made like every minute, so it's like bot controlled. But the network of bots can't be feasible for anybody because it's too many.
See, here's the thing.
Like, what's going on? Is it really AI? Of course, I don't think it is, but It's
No,
one
no,
of
no,
those
no.
fun things.
Here's the thing. It could be AI because if you, I don't know if you ever chatted to those AI that exist online. Like you can chat and they reply. Have you noticed the replies? How
Oh yeah, like the case-based
it could
reasoning
be it could be
chatbots and
something.
shit.
It could be something like this that's set on automatic and just drops out. You know.
Well, it's interesting to
Weird shit.
consider, you know, that if it, you know, if you had an AI that was talking about a hybrid human race, that it wouldn't feel any feelings or judgment, so it would immediately associate that with something like Adolf Hitler or like the eugenics program of the Nazis, and without human context, it would immediately go for something like that. You know, whereas if a human context would be like, well, ew, I don't want to be anything like that. So whereas a you know, machine would just be like, okay, now I look like Hitler. Hey kids, you know, like, let's talk about
imagine.
the
Like it's. See, this is something that would fit in a movie about Nazis on the moon. You know, they have an AI automated like a kids program, so you can see you see a kid, and then you see that's a school. You know, and there's not an AI Hitler teaching kids every day. I mean, it's so cool. Movie makers out there, take note. Movie makers
Does your mother
out there.
beat you when you do bad things? I will beat you. It's like, Jesus Christ. What? This is crazy. Come on. But yeah, it's hello kids. I am AI. That's right. I am artificial intelligence. I'm like, why is it so creepy? And there's like, always these weird distorted franchise licensed franchises. It's all franchises like Frozen and Marvel and DC, you know, and they're all Indian voices singing usually too, you know, the mother finger, where are you? Or like these women that would be singing, and they have like that, you know, that Indian quality of singing. And to that, I don't mean racially, I mean in the Indian theory.
Yeah, the high pitched.
They have those trills on notes that in the West
yeah.
we're not really, you know, when we sing, we don't have those kind of attached to a scale. They do. And they do that thing, you know, and it's hard to do, you know, but that's a little bit,
I'm gonna go watch this.
It's crazy. It's so weird. And there's these live action shows now for kids that do the creepiest shit, and they have grotesque images in them. It's weird, and it's for kids. It's supposed to be for kids. Like, it's so fucking weird. God, yeah, just check it out sometime.
I'm gonna raise my kids on that.
You should.
That's a social experiment. It's a social experiment, you know.
It's all the fucking Russians, you know it. They're inventing all of this. One day your kid's gonna be 15 years old, and he's gonna be like, "Come here, American. Sit down. I'm about to go to school. I want you to stay in basement today." Be killed like that. One day, the Kremlin will rise. No, I don't really think that. But the truth is, it might be AI. I mean, I don't put that past it, but that's some creepy shit. So creepy. So, anyways, yeah, another tangent. But so, Cody, what's going on in your neck of the woods now that you're out of the weeds?
I'm out of the weeds. I'm building a log cabin in the forest. Just like getting that pizza establishment up and going. I'm just not sampling, basically.
Is it wood oven? Is it wood oven baked pizza, or is it?
It's totally wood oven. You got the presidential gold flake inside. It's like gold inside the crust. It's rare.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it's like a Goldschlager.
It's like a Goldschlager meets pizza.
Well, you know, when I think of the gold standard of pizza, I really do turn to Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's the only company that's ever made a grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza, and
that's
one of the best.
Can I here? Let me show you my. I'm going to show you my fridge. You want to see my fridge?
I'm ready for some sponsor money. So yeah, show that fridge up.
Me too. God.
Show that fridge
this
up.
Is world premiere.
I'm down with Pizza Hut. I don't give a shit. I'm
That's
down
world
with Pizza
premiere.
Hut. I'm too proud to
world
beg
premiere.
Pizza Hut for money.
World premiere here. I'll even here. Check it out.
Broadcasted globally. Show us.
Pizza Hut. Pizza, and yeah, it's stuffed crust.
All right, do me a favor, Cody. Will you grab some footage of the pizza, and I'm going to announce over it real quick.
All right, here. God, that's a bad slice. Here.
Welcome to a slice of pizza from Pizza Hut. Stuffed crust, cheddar, mozzarella, fresh cheese, Parmesan Asiago, Romano. Sometimes
It's just
feta,
regular old
especially.
stuffed crust, bud. You know what it is.
Regular old stuffed crust is a classic, a basic classic that never dies. Pizza Hut. Come to where the
Made it.
heart is. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing random commercials for companies. Maybe they'll pay me.
Fucking do it. I bought 3 large stuffed crust pizzas for $7 each. That's a hell of a deal for stuffed crust.
It is. It is. So we were talking
Normally
about
like 12 or 13.
before you got here. We were talking about forging ad hoc conglomerates amongst us indies and trying to create a comparative and competitive industry with the at least the mid wigs and then maybe the big wigs one day. What are your thoughts on such a thing? And giving the music away for free and revenuing through product sales and things like that.
We were talking about a kind of network, you know, and everybody supports each other and stuff, you know. So we don't need the bigger ones, but at the end, if we become strong ourselves, we can also start affecting, you know, outside of the circle and change things, you know, a bit.
Hang on. Say all this again. I like short out.
You short out. In your brain or on the phone?
On the phone.
Okay. All right. George, I will give you the podium to describe what I just said.
Yeah, we were just talking about like always sponsored by Pizza Hut. Yeah, we were just saying that producers aren't serious about helping each other out, and we were talking about, you know, like each label or could sponsor another label or could sponsor a podcast, and everybody could be like, you know, if you have a podcast, for example, you could be a partner with a label.
Mm-hmm.
And you could like promote them, and the label can promote you by adding their links on them and stuff, and generally create this more, you know, this community, but which is taken a bit more seriously by its members, and not just, you know, we just happen to be around, you know, and so we don't rely on things outside the circle to make a living from music. That was our first suggestion as our first goal, and. Yeah, but we also said that there's many people who are like, what's that? I don't understand, you know. And so, yeah, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, should we try or should we just like?
It could help to forge tours too. I mean,
yeah, but tours as well. Yeah.
I think it's like just about like, I don't know. I think that everybody should be like supportive. Like you should have your like group of like musicians, such as ourselves, and record label owners, same thing. And then just like, I don't know, if someone's got a new album out, pump it, like post it.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's like a new release from the label or whatever it fucking is, just like repost it, even if it's on your fucking Facebook.
We should make a
it
secret
helps
group
a lot
for
more
that.
than you
Then
think it does. What?
We should make a very tight secret group of people where we do that, or we go on rotation with that and just promote.
Yeah, we reshare each other's we reshare each other's things, and we basically help each other, but you know, in a tangible way, not just like, because most communities, especially online and on Facebook group, it's just like, you know, we just happen to be there, so we just sit there and blabber about stuff. I mean, nobody's actually like, you know, trying to help each other. We're just there, you know. So
yeah, the point is to make a big enough noise for tastemakers to catch you, or
yeah, exactly. For this to happen, we need to create this vortex where it moves upwards instead of inwards, you know, and it moves its members upwards and outside, you know, in a spiral way. This is what we should do.
For anybody who might be listening,
I agree with that kind of like teamwork, like work, like just as long as you're like
Murder Inc.
I don't know, trying to help someone out and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm gonna go back to the Reddit thing again. You're gonna hear me talk about this a lot. But
yeah, we want.
There was a lot more orchestration behind of what I was trying to do. With I don't really like Liz, that runs like the Vape Council Ron on Cut. You know who Liz Jordy is? Liz Jordy.
I don't even know this guy.
That's a girl. She runs SPF 20. and like Blank Banshees played there and all this other shit. And she just acts like she's like top fucking shit, but she doesn't even make music or anything. And she just like talks down a lot of my friends, like I don't know, just different people
So she's
that
like a
I'm close
promoter?
with. What?
She's like a promoter?
Basically, like she's just a show organizer,
I
essentially.
feel. Okay.
Yeah, and like she's just just I don't know, not a very nice person and stuff, and she's always like out picking on other people and stuff. So the main reason why I chose like some of the tracks I chose were some of her boyfriend's fucking music, and I slowed them fucking down. And
Ooh,
I get this whole thing.
I get it now.
It's
Yeah.
I get it
personal.
now.
Oh, I get it.
it's more
it's got
orchestrated than you
Yeah.
think it would be.
I get it now. Okay, yeah.
But I'm
yeah.
just saying, it's more on lines of like you don't need to be a dick about like to like my friends and stuff, and then like I don't know. I'm just letting you all in and telling you how I feel. You may not
Hey, man,
like
you
that
need
or
to
respect it,
just-
but that's the truth
you
of
need to
it.
let it burn. This is your confession.
That's
you
my
know?
it's my Usher Raymond, Jonathan. You
Exactly.
know it is.
Exactly. This is my
But no,
confession.
Yeah, Corey, I just saw that there was a lot of butthurt up from certain people, and you could see that very clearly. I mean, yeah, most people were like, yeah, whatever, you know, but some people were really butthurt about it, like really,
they
really
were.
butthurt.
I know, and like it's like people I never even met in my life or have ever said a fucking word to, and it's like people that I know that have never bought a cassette.
It's the internet. It's the internet. The internet is a fucked up place,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, I mean, honestly, this all originally originates back from like me and Vapor's beef a while back, and I feel like he's the one who had something to do with that Reddit thing. And I've sent Jeff a message, like just trying to talk to him about it, and he won't respond to me. So it's kind of obvious, like
ghosted.
you know,
Who?
I can go shit talk about you on Reddit, but I'm not gonna talk to you on Facebook about it.
Oh,
You know
what I mean?
yeah.
Karate King got shadow banned essentially on Reddit. You know, like
Dude, oh yeah, totally. I mean, he's the one that I personally think's behind all that. Because him and Liz are like pals, and he's never liked me once because, well, he makes Vapor Trap and I make Vapor Trap, so you know, can't like the competition when you're a capitalist.
It doesn't make any sense though. It's like it's not like $10,000 on the line.
It's not yeah, it doesn't make sense in the sense that it doesn't make sense, but people do that. I mean, people get like passive aggressive about the most ridiculous things you can imagine. So this is something that is not surprising, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. I mean, if you're good about yourself and if you're good about your own music, you don't care about stuff like that. In my
If
opinion.
$100,000 or $500,000 was on the line, I would pay the voodoo priest to put a curse on you. But if it's like for $40, I mean,
which that's literally about what it was about.
Exactly.
It's not even that much.
Like if you're actually like if you have so many, if you have a few tens of thousands of fans, and if you can sell vinyl records so easily, like he does, I think he should be in a much healthier state of mind for himself than to care about stupid things like this. Because from his point of view, this should be something stupid that he wouldn't even bother about. Big deal. I make Vapor Trap and some other guy makes Vapor Trap. I mean, they shouldn't even notice things like that. They shouldn't even care. I mean, they have so many more fans, and they make more money from music, and they can like push records so easily. And all they do is sit and get involved in drama about random guys who just happen to have to sample somebody or like make the same thing. I think that shows. Two guys did that in Synthwave too. I think it just shows lack of like character. I think it just shows like insecurity, basically.
Yeah, it's essentially insecurities. It's like that's what it breaks down to, and it's like I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, because why would you? I mean, if you're one of the most successful producers in Vaporwave or Synthwave or any kind of scene, why would you even care about stuff like that? You know?
Yeah.
It's totally insecure. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think that like I don't know. I feel like he just he's always like said something to me or been aggressive towards me, and hasn't ever really liked me as a person.
It's that archetype too, that loner artist kind of archetype, that edgy, angsty.
I want to be telepath. I want to fuck telepath right now. Am I right? Isn't that the game that everybody's trying to run?
You're exactly. You're absolutely telling the truth. But yeah, it's just that fucking stereotype, man. And here's the thing: we got this post version of that now, where the person is self-aware and they know that they're that type, so they're trying to be that aggressive, but
be dick, elitist. It has to sound like I want it to, or I won't release it on my label.
Yeah,
like
it's bullshit.
Can't let the riffraff in on how perfect I am.
That's the whole point of me making deep web music. It's been a slow start for me, but that's why I made it. It was for misfits. It was for for people who didn't belong, or who just had to be good. But I mean, it was for people who just were either treated like shit by the communities, or they didn't belong and they just needed the right representation.
Yeah. I just think that people who are doing well with their music and stuff, and who are gaining fans every day, and who are selling music every day, I think they should grow away from their insecurities, because in the end it's only them that's hurting.
I agree.
You just don't give a fuck. You can say I don't give a fuck. Sit talk about me as much as you like. It's them who are gonna be like caught in this bad state of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're limiting fan bases, demographics. You're limiting it. And, if you look at the three of us,
you don't have your own piece. You don't have your own piece. If you're like, if you're doing so well in music, and yet you sit and get involved in these petty fights, you don't have peace for yourself.
Yeah, it's
you who's getting damaged at the end.
Exactly. You.
That's why you need Xanax.
Hey,
Xanax.
boy. Hey, that's
I don't know what it is.
That's why
because I was about to be like, man, those are all just like tightly wrapped up. And where'd you get those, from the Xanax store?
I think we're giving a bad message to the kids. I think we're giving a bad message to our below 12 audience here. I'm holding pills on the screen. He's smoking.
I bought that from
yeah. It's PG-18. This show is PG-18. Pull the disclaimer on, please.
Oh man.
No, I feel like back to like the origin of that conversation we were just having. It's like, instead of going to Reddit to bitch about an artist of any sort, why not just like make a sick album?
Yeah.
Right.
That's like music's more. I mean, clearly more important than bitching about someone on Reddit.
And it's not even that. Make your kick-ass album. Go see your friends. Do all the stuff you like in life. Instead, you just sit there and talk. And I understand it. See, here's the thing. I understand it about people who have failed in everything. In life, like they've tried everything and they failed, and then you come in, and then you achieve more. And then they go like berserk. I get that. But when you achieve many great things compared to others, and you worry about the little guys, and you talk about little guys, I mean, that's pathetic.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Haters abound.
And many do that. I mean, I got many people in my head right now that I can think that they were doing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've never once thought of going to Reddit to bitch about an artist, or I don't know. I'm always working on music. That's probably why.
I've never bitched about any artist, really. And if I ever got involved in a beef with somebody, well, at least I hope it's an artist like we're at the same level, because I can't sit talk. I cannot even care about someone who just popped out of nowhere to start sweet talk about me.
Yeah. Or someone that you do know, and then they posted under a different name just to like.
That's sad.
Oh, I've never had this happen. I've never had this happen.
Yeah.
Wait. And they're friends with you too at the same time, like.
Yeah, of course.
Wow,
just like a
great.
fake bullshit thing.
You enjoy it.
That's some
you enjoy
it. Shit, man. That's. Damn, man.
Dude, what?
That's some A2 Brute shit, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
It's part of. I mean, it's people, dude. They're fucking nuts.
This internet has just made people go, wow.
And you know what's the thing? You know what's the thing? In real life, they'd never say this in your face.
Oh fuck no.
No, fuck no.
No, never. That's what that's my point, man. I'm angling for a functional label or a meta label where, like, there's shows, there's distribution in other places, there's fan sharing, there's demographic sharing with other labels involved in it. And then from there, man, these little communities die because there's a real one that gets made. I mean, they're not going to die forever, but they go back to the hole in which they came from at one time.
Yeah.
The problem is the basement is taken over the whole house. Like, the whole fucking house is a basement. We need to bring it back down to the basement.
You see the
dollars are.
Yeah.
And then we can all live in the house again, in the real house, and let them go down there and.
No, the problem is that
samples. Fuck you.
the problem is that the internet is basically a platform for people to unleash all of their issues.
Oh yeah.
And for example, right? I'm sure that all these guys who are big in a certain scene and yet sit and shit talk about other little guys, I think the internet kind of coaxes you into it in a sense.
I think so. Yeah.
And while in real life, they'd probably either not say anything, or if they did say anything, the conversation will be much more smooth, and it will be much more polite and understanding,
But what happens with virtual reality?
But with virtual reality, it's just like, unleash your psychopathy on people,
I think people will take it a step further, man. They'll want to pop up in your virtual home and be like, "Go fuck yourself, I hate you," and then they just disappear back into the ether.
That's what I mean.
Basically, that's what Reddit is right now. It's like,
can you imagine Reddit in virtual reality?
It just feels like Reddit to me. I don't know I don't think everybody in Reddit hates me. I know that that's not the case, but I feel like that whole thing was just like these people were like all clearly talking. It was like pre-planned before that was even up. There was like a following of people that didn't like.
It was a surgical strike, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah.
And you were Mobile Strike, if you will, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And
I just was like, I didn't really respond to any of it directly, and then I made like an announcement on Reddit, and it was like really facetious. I didn't take any of it serious. It wasn't a very genuine apology, but because it's like, the fuck, like I'm looking at this in the sense of like, yeah, it has elements of punk. Yeah, there's also some kind of experimentation being done here.
You gave the sociopath
I don't like Liz, so it's like, I don't know. I was just kind of like trying to understand more of like the dynamics of the scene, if you will.
Man, all I gotta say is that, fuck scenes, man.
Oh yeah, of course. The scene's not gonna fucking help you make a great album just like based on the scene in itself.
No, you do whatever you do, and let people decide where you belong. I mean, you just do what you do, and you say what you want to say, and let people decide which scene or which category it belongs. That's the way I see it.
So, what did you, Cody? What did you think about Person's album and the whole thing that we got going with it, the tape and
dude,
memoir?
I'm fucking happy. I'm proud of Jonathan. I'm very happy for him because and I'm happy for you too. I know you're both the Jonathans, if you will, but you guys, I mean, the cassette looks beautiful. I'm sure Jonathan Clark is very happy, and I'm very happy for him because I remember talking to him this time last year. I think he was working on his second or third person song ever, and it's like I was just getting him into like vaporwave in the scene this time last year. So I'm sure he's very happy to see like within a year of like, getting things put together and stuff that he's getting like has a cassette out, because I remember him really wanting that. And I'm glad that you two have. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a project for me, man. Only because he's not very well known. So it's just about getting him out there and getting him to.
But it's not going to be hard for him to get known.
No,
like,
it won't. It already has.
I think
people
that.
have already kind of been attracted to it. It just needed to be marketed right. It just the message just needed to come out correctly to people in a way that they can understand it, and in a way that it's integrity of the way person wanted to keep it. So it was just a real balancing act with it. And then I got quite a few people interested in it. The thing is that he's kind of a new genre, and that's kind of why I'm playing the slow game, the long game with him, because we got to establish something new.
And I don't blame you for that, because like whenever he told me about Vaporgrave Will Never Live, I was just like, you gave me
that's
that
genius. That's just genius. Yeah.
I know.
That line is everything.
Oh, that's so rich, Jonathan. Thank you. Like, I needed to hear that.
It's true.
The Grimoire, Cody, haven't you checked the new stuff he's doing now with the Grimoire and stuff?
Yeah, I have.
He's a genius.
Yeah, no, he's.
You're a genius, John.
Just like me and him grew up in the same town together. Me and Jonathan Clark did, and how I met him was for some fucking reason in Harrison, everybody would meet up at the football games and shit. And even if you're a musician or whatever, and all the musicians would that's where I met him. He was so anti-capitalist, he wasn't going to pay to get in to the game. So he would stand at the fence and just talk to us. And smoke cigarettes and all this other shit. And it was just I was just like, this guy's a wildcat. And then I see his band play. Ask Jonathan about Silent End. He played in a grindcore death metal, black metal band called Silent End in high school, and he was the lead singer, and he growled and screamed and all that. And it's just it's so amazing to see him do that. And then, have you listened to the earlier person stuff where it sounds like Lady Gaga?
I went through his SoundCloud when he approached me. And actually, I approached him. I think I approached him, but it was I went through his SoundCloud too, and it was really good. It's just like I said, when the way he was being presented was indistinguishable from anybody else, and that's a travesty because he's not that. He's quite unique, so it had to stand out. That's why I did the Grimoire. That's why I made that Grimoire. That's why I wanted this kind of occult look to everything, while the tape was violent and like that. I wanted that mixture because I wanted it to stand out amongst Witch House and Vaporwave, and look different in both of those worlds, which gotten a pretty good run in Witch House with it, but the Vaporwavers have given it a much better reception, I would say.
Yeah, because it's the whole anti-capitalist thing is, and the whole funny thing.
This is what people say Vaporwave is. He's actually doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
exactly.
He's actually making the music that people say Vaporwave's supposed to mean and be.
Exactly.
That's what got me about him. This is what it's fucking supposed to be about. This is
to me, it was like watching Jonathan grow. I showed him that Was X intro to Vaporwave, which now Was X really hates me. Whatever. But because of all the Reddit debacle. But anyways, I remember showing Jonathan that, and I don't know, we were chain smoking and drinking coffee religiously, and just I'd be working in Logic and he's working in FL Studios, and we would just be like, dude, check this out. No, check. And we'd just be bouncing ideas back and forth. Jonathan rules. Cool. And it's cool because I think out of everybody I've shown in real live Vaporwave, I feel that he's taking it to another level, and I'm very happy to be awesome. I'm glad that I could show you a genre of music where it changes your music in itself to evolve, right. That's a good feeling.
I feel something like Vaporwave is special for that. I think it's kind of a catalyst style of music. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
Subgenres were boom in 2-3 years from Vaporwave. Mm-hmm. It's like an embryo. There's something embryonic, I guess you can say, about Vaporwave.
Yeah.
And at this point, I want to self-promote myself as always. I'm gonna grab
Dude,
this chance
Throw it out, man. Throw
You
it
got
out.
a vinyl
and
out.
tell it and say that I have the first ever vaporwave visual exhibition in a gallery coming up soon
Nice.
in England.
Yeah, dude.
In England, and I'm not talking about pastel aesthetics and stuff. I'm talking about pure vaporwave, like busts, pastel, VHS, you know, 90s graphics. Because I wanna like, I think the visuals of vaporwave. If you want to do it seriously, you can express a lot of things through them, you know.
Mhm.
And
Sure you can.
and it's going in a gallery soon. And hopefully, I hope that from there I can take the exhibit to to other galleries and slowly like jump from gallery to gallery. Basically, that's what I want to do in England.
Nice.
Dude, no,
Nice,
that's
nice,
amazing. And I would, like, are you going to film the?
I want
film it
to.
or?
Well, I want to shoot some. I mean, I want to give a camera to some guy and let him follow me around while I talk to people, and because there's going to be other artists there as well.
Hey, I know
It's
people
gonna
that
be.
do
It's
that
gonna
for
be.
you, man. If you need it.
I would love to fly over there and be the cameraman. I would do that. Heartbeat. I would make a documentary.
I would love to go film. Have you guys seen the Let's Talk Figures TV show that I host?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I've
we're
seen
talking
that.
about,
I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just love to be able to go over there and shoot the show, aka get really drunk and try to talk to people, and
That'd be great. Or drop acid and talk to people.
it's fun. It's fun getting drunk and talking to people. You don't have any idea. Some people want to punch the mic out of your hand. Some people want to give you a kiss.
It's just whatever you get.
Yeah,
It's
it's just a moment.
Let's talk about a hot subject, please.
All right.
hot subject.
Blank Banshee and his never-ending loops,
Anticipation.
anticipation and release date.
We're never going to see the album.
He now, however, I wanna say that now he posted on Facebook after months, and he gave an exact date. That's the first time he did it. So
October 10th, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to discuss about the other thing, the trolling website he did. He's not genius. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of I liked it. The trolling website.
Frankie Ocean though, isn't he? Like Frank Ocean.
He is the Frank Ocean of vaporwave right now.
He's kind of pulling. He's just taking kind of this straight out of Ocean's book, right? Playbook, like.
But hang on, if you think though, like, soon
he's
as
gonna
that
lose some
film
fans.
down, like, I think Frank Ocean, did do it just like a hair above when Blank Banshee did it, but they did it around the same. What if Blank Banshee's Frank Ocean?
What if Frank Ocean's Blank Banshee?
Fucking, that's what I'm saying.
I don't believe it though. I don't
either. I was just trying to make a conspiracy for the theorists out there that need it.
I think that what if Blank Banshee's a synthwaver?
He probably is.
He definitely has a secret alliance in Safeway, definitely.
What if George is what if George is Blank Banshee, Jonathan? What if he is? He can't hear me, right?
You're on a secure channel. You're on a secure channel. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I want to see little guys, and I do think Blank Banshee's still a little guy, like when it comes to the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing little guys do stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see people taking it seriously. Treat it seriously.
Totally.
Going in there and really trying to get yourself out there, like a wrestling gimmick. You really
exactly
work the crowd, see what you can come up with. See what's out there. What do they want? What do they demand?
Yeah,
Give it to them.
this is very important, the interaction, because well, I know that artists think that interaction means that you lock yourself in a basement for a week and you make music and then you reply to Facebook comments and they call that interaction. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about artistic interaction.
Yeah.
Be in touch all the time with your fans.
Yeah.
Ask, do this, do that. And with this exhibition, that's what I want to do. I mean, the guy who is trying to put me in this he's doing he likes vaporwave as well. He buys from a Pool House. He has the Vapor vinyl as well. but he doesn't have anything from you, Cody. Not yet. And what we're trying to do is like, there are artists out there who do stuff which is not vaporwave, visually speaking, but it's similar. And they don't even, some of them don't even know that vaporwave exists, right? So we're trying to like bring these guys to see that, but we're also trying to bring in art students and people who can be inspired by it, and they can, take inspiration and do their own thing,
If vaporwave didn't knew that you existed, you would be dead. That's the truth.
Fuck.
I mean, seriously, if it didn't acknowledge your existence, you would just like Back to the Future style. Just
that's deep. That's deep.
Just go to the future.
You could go to the future if you.
You'd have to wait till the future in order to understand it.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to get. You're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh at this because it's funny, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get in touch with. I have been in touch with a guy from
the future. He's like George.
No, I'm from the future. No, from a guy from Venice who does art history and stuff, and I've showed him like the vaporwave stuff I've made, and trying to get him like to write a booklet, which is like an analysis of my artworks.
He's not from the future. I'm telling you,
from a historical perspective. And I want to send these, and I want to send this to galleries, so people who visit galleries, they can have the booklet, and they can see my artwork and stuff, and they can read about vaporwave, but they can also read about my other interests. But I'm just trying to spread the visual vaporwave around, get it out of the internet, and put it in the gallery, which of course the Reddit will hate me about a lot about that. But
who are you to say what vaporwave is? Who are you?
Yeah, because you know what they reply. Because you know what they reply when I said I'm going to do the VHS Dreams Foundation thing, and it's going to involve like visual arts as well and performance arts. A vaporwave guy came and replied something like, "No, you pretentious fuck," something like that. And then have you seen that? Because
grids, it's more than that. Come on, there's more depth to it.
No, you know,
with the program.
You see that's the problem. If you try and do it more than that, they have a problem with it, because you're being pretentious. It's just a meme, dude.
It's because it's a move
just
they
a meme,
wanted to
just
do.
A meme,
they
dude.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
They're paralyzed. That's why.
Yeah, and he applied this, and I had.
It takes balls to do what you're proposing. I mean, it really does. Going into this art gallery context and selling your media this way and trying to, use this 360 degree of sensory awareness while you're doing it with music and everything else. I mean, that's pretty ballsy, man. I got to give it to you, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought about doing that, and then we're just like, I can't do that.
Thanks, and I'm sure many have done, but many vaporheads don't. It depends on where you come from as well. I mean, I don't know. I come from a painting background, right? And I remember the first day I saw vaporwave, and it's not even like an exaggeration, because I because the first time I saw vaporwave, right, I spent my entire day looking at vaporwave pictures, to get what it is. But I also liked it. So, and the first thing I thought is like, is this on galleries? Like, who are the artists who do that? And then I realized that it's an internet thing. But then immediately what came into my head is like, oh, okay, well, I need to do this, and I need to put this in a gallery. That's the first thing that came in my head, So, and when I read about this capitalist thing, I realized that it was all bollocks. But I want to do this as well, because I like the theme, this anti-capitalist blah 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 vaporwave and the satire and all. I mean. It's funny because it's what you said, that you come into vaporwave and you see journalists and people talking about this, and you realize that it's not that, but you work it that, make it what they say it is, and it's because it's a very nice concept, I mean it's an art form that other people came up with the concepts and not the artists, and I don't find anything wrong with that. I mean, I think it's very interactive,
Well, it's also very common. It happens all the time. I mean, that's grunge, the Seattle sound.
Punk.
all that shit that was electronica, techno, all those terms were given by
What the hell is electronica?
Electronica.
I want to ask this question for a long time now. What the hell is electronica? Because
technically it's everything electronic, essentially.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But
it's like EDM is for everything. Like.
Exactly. It was used in the 90s. I think the Orb, that was a big like electronica act, I guess you could say. I don't know. Sounds like a very British term though, doesn't it? Electronica.
Yeah, electronica.
It does sound a little bit on the British side. So maybe they came up with that term. I'm going to call this electronica.
Of course, I just bought a Moog and I made my first electronica album.
Electronica. Oh, I like that term. Yeah, I mean, or how techno. Techno. That was a stupid term, isn't it? Techno.
Techno's just.
It sounds good for its age. It sounds good for its age. For the time it came out.
I think it should have been called cyber techno. There's not enough cyber and shit now. There needs to be cyber everything.
Yeah.
Dude, cyber tech.
Cyber needs to be the new pumpkin spice, and that's just the bottom line, motherfuck. It should be.
Dude, pumpkin spice cyber, dude.
Do what?
Cyber pumpkin spice.
Yeah. Cyber pumpkin spice, cyborg coffee, cyber macchiato, cyber americano. I mean, we could do this forever.
Cyber waterfalls, dude.
Cyber Fiji.
Cyber ashes.
Cyber artesian bread.
Cyber syrup.
Cyber syrup. I like the cyber syrup. Yeah, like it through.
I can't breathe anymore.
Must scream.
There is cyberpunk music, but basically it's everything.
Awesome.
But it's everything. I mean, one cyberpunk artist is making some like techno basically, and the other one is making some like metal with electronic instruments.
I like seeing the guys now that do the '90s cyberpunk music. I love seeing that. I don't really enjoy it, but I like seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, I love that and dudes trying to be like hard. They're all like, this young it's all like, I love that shit. And also in the Phrygian mode, it's all like.
What do you think? What do you think of the '90s in general? Do you think that the '90s? I mean, the classical 90s pop will reach a point where it's gonna be like the nostalgia going on like the 80s goes on now.
Already is, man. It already is. I mean,
yeah,
vaporwave
that's been
is
going on
that.
Yeah, vaporwave is right. Right.
And to a certain extent, cyberpunk. I think there's a lot more outlets for the '90s than there are for the '80s. I think the '80s was just distance.
Yeah, it was too underground. It was.
Yeah,
too underground.
Well,
and
yeah, but the glorious part about the '80s were like the shoegaze scene before it was even like aware in the '90s, like Cocteau Twins, and then like you basically see The Cure blatantly ripping off after they make it and get signed on like I don't know, the probably Capitol Records or something.
They got signed to I think Elektra. I think it was Elektra.
Okay, they got on a bigger label, and then they just started ripping off like Cocteau Twins' like aesthetic. Like the look and everything, even the sound, the tone of the guitar, like chorus with delay with a reverb.
But they did
it's like, I think that's an interesting time in the '80s, anyways, for music.
Yeah, I think, but that outlet of music is untouched. It goes dismissively goes under the goth or new wave title, and it's just kind of dismissively put there because I grew up with that strain of music. I grew up with Husker Du and Bob Mould and REM and
fucking right, dude.
You know, that kind of stuff, and in the '90s too. Grew up with all that stuff. Grew up with Sunny Day Real Estate and all that stuff, and that's very
Sunny Day. I used to listen.
Oh yeah, in circles.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about the '80s?
They were so sad.
Do you know what I like about the '80s? The period from basically '88 and '89, those 2 years, and. I mean, it's so overlooked in the retro revival genre, if you want to call it like that. I mean, to think that, if you look at 1988, right? How it's the transitional period between the 80s and the 90s, and I don't know. I just have a strong fascination about that specific sound of that
That was
time.
the time of the bicycle hats, right? Remember those little bicycle hats that had the
Yeah.
little
Yep.
flat?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
time for those EMF. Oh, you're unbelievable! Like that shit.
And
Remember that
well, basically,
bicycle?
if you go, you can find the roots of trance music in 88, 89,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so amazing because it's not, it's not the classical 90s popular trance. It's it's a mix of 80s and 90s, and it was so weird and trippy. And these parts of the 80s are completely like forgotten and overlooked in the retro revival thing. I mean, the retro revival thing is basically a pastiche of the deep 80s, like what Miami Vice
TV 80s.
propagated as the 80s,
Yeah, it was the TV 80s. It was yeah, exactly. It was
and and and
Dr.
and,
Pepper
and,
80s.
and it was, yeah, it was basically it's 84, 85, 86, 87, those 4 years, and those 4 years is what the synthwave pastiche is all about. But
Yeah.
they completely overlook the 87, 90, no, 87 not so much, 88 and 89. They totally, like what was the name? Information Society and stuff like that. I mean, I like those bands and their sound and the sampling, and you can see the 90s into these 80s tracks. You can see the 90s are coming.
I can enjoy the 80s, but if it's not like alternative music, essentially, it's just a mere passing enjoyment for me with the 80s. I don't have much passion for for like the real acts that came from there, unless it was new wave or something like that. I mean, I grew up with like Blondie, B-52s, REM.
Oh yeah, I love that
Two.
stuff. I love that stuff, and I love underground
And then
electronic music as well.
the 89-90 shift was when shoegaze became dream pop, and you had
Yep.
like the Sundays and bands like that
Yeah.
were popping.
You
up
went from
jangly.
Slow Dive to Mazzy Star, basically.
Yeah, and it was jangly and it was good. I liked it a lot.
And I personally never paid attention to all that, though. I mean, I identify with that same years you said in the very early 90s. I identify
Check
more
out
with
the-
like trance.
check out the Sundays. Check out the Sundays. That was a nice little
Or-
dream
or-
pop band.
Check out Slow Dive, Slovakia Space Station. That album is amazing.
Also, Tori Amos. She held it.
Tori Amos, it's classic.
Yeah,
Classic
it's
shit right
classic.
there.
That was a good stuff back in the day.
Harpsichord. She's a harpsichord queen.
Of course, Portishead. That's
Oh,
they were
yeah.
such a cool group. God, they were so fucking cool. Cooler than so many other ones. All right, guys, it is 5 o'clock my time.
It is
I gotta
10
wrap
o'clock my
this up.
time.
But let's do this again. I finally got everything back up and running, so we can podcast until we fucking die.
Perfect. That's what I want to do
Awesome.
next time.
Exactly. I want to too. I'm gonna put a body cam on me. And
Can we
podcast till I die.
can we do something like a Hell in a Cell thing where
We can do Hell in a
it's
Cell.
us three and Karate King and I don't know who else. And
We shall. I want Karate King so bad to be on a group podcast. I did a little interview with him or a little podcast with him or something like that on TCR Taylor's friends and his podcast he did for like a month or two or something like that. And I did it with Karate King for a few minutes, and it was pretty fun. It was just voice for him. And
yeah, and we should find one extra guy, and then it's gonna be like 5 guys, and let's call it Hell in a Cell, and we have no, we just click record and just start talking basically. Whatever comes out.
That'd be awesome, man. Let's try to shoot for something special next time. We'll shoot for next week. Hopefully, maybe next Monday or Tuesday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We can do it.
I'm sorry that I'm like, I sleep a lot.
Sleep a lot.
But I enjoy doing this, and it's cool talking to y'all because I haven't seen y'all in a minute. And it's just
It's
like,
true, man. But
you know,
we're back, and it's all right because everyone's
Fuck
got to
yeah.
shake their body. All right, everybody. I'm going to stop this broadcast. It's been a hell of a time. This has been another live from the Deep Web podcast episode, I think 11. Maybe it's 11. And we'll talk to you later. See you guys.